Now, the U.S. military has conducted airstrikes in Iraq and Syria against Iranian-backed militia. The two locations in Syria and one in Iraq were targeted, both along the Iraq-Syria border. Iraq's Popular Mobilization Forces say 4 of their members were killed in the attacks. The Pentagon has released a statement saying President Biden has been clear he will act to protect U.S. personnel. Given the ongoing series of attacks by Iran-backed groups targeting U.S. interests in Iraq, the president directed further military action to disrupt and deter such attacks. From Washington, D.C., here's Rosalind Jordan now.
Late on Sunday, the Pentagon announced that at the orders of Joe Biden, the U.S. president, the U.S. military launched defensive precision airstrikes against 3 targets, 2 in Syria and 1 in Iraq. The targets are Iran-backed militias, according to the Pentagon, groups that have been trying to launch drone attacks on U.S. forces and bases inside Iraq. The Pentagon goes on to say that the president used his constitutional authority to order these airstrikes in order to protect U.S. forces who are in Iraq, providing training and support to the Iraqi military.
Mahmoud Abdul-Wahid is live for us now from Baghdad. So is the situation calming down now, Mahmoud?
It doesn't seem so, Sami, especially with the threats coming from the popular mobilization forces and their allies. As you know, that the statement is expected to be released by the brigade of Hezbollah and the Saraya, the Sayyid al-Shuhada brigade too. And these are the Iran-backed military or armed groups. 4 were killed, and a source from the Popular Mobilization Force suggests that 1 military commander is among the dead. Now, remember, this attack is a kind of response to the drone attacks launched or conducted by those armed groups, because they're accused by the United States military of conducting attacks using drones to targeting U.S. military facilities, including the Ain al-Assad military base in Anbar province, and also the military facilities near the Baghdad International Airport over the past few months. This attack comes only a couple of days after the show of force conducted by the Popular Mobilization Force at the anniversary of creating or establishing the armed group. The military parade conducted by the Popular Mobilization Force was in the Deuel province. Meanwhile, the government of Mustafa al-Kadhimi in Baghdad has not commented on the attack yet, but we know that the government is not in normal terms with many of the Iran-backed armed groups. There is a lot of comments online from pages affiliated with the Popular Mobilization Force, threatening to retaliate, threatening to launch more missiles to attack U.S. military facilities as a kind of retaliation to tonight's attack.
All right, and that was Mahmoud Abdul-Wahid there from Baghdad. Now, as we've been reporting, this is the second time President Joe Biden has ordered military strikes in the region. The first was in February against some of the same Iran-backed groups. That was in response to rocket attacks on U.S. bases. The Pentagon says there were 5 drone attacks on U.S.-led coalition personnel in Iraq since April, and that Iran-backed militia, including Kataib Hezbollah and Kataib Sayyid al-Shuhada, used the facility that was attacked on Sunday. Lawrence Korb is a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress. He's also a former Assistant Secretary of Defense. He says the U.S. is keen to send a firm message to Iran.
I think they're very significant because this is only the second time that President Biden has used military force. The first strike was almost exactly 4 months ago, the end of February. I also think it's significant that he attacked Iranian-backed forces at the same time the negotiations are going on about reinstating the JCPOA, because I think he wants to send a signal that, yes, we want to get back into the nuclear agreement, but we're not going to let you do all these other things. And then finally, I think it's also a signal that even though the United States is getting out of Afghanistan, we're not leaving the region. We're going to keep troops in Iraq until we can see that situation is stable. We don't want ISIS to come back into the Syria-Iraq border. These are theoretically part of the Iraqi military, but they're under Iranian control. And basically, they would like the United States to get out of the region so Iran could extend its influence. The Iraqi government likes us to do these things because they don't want to take on the Iranian-backed militias themselves, given the percentage of the Shias that live in Iraq. So this, I'm sure they coordinated this with the Iraqi government.
And in Iraq, ISIL has claimed responsibility for a rocket attack on an electrical power station. The attack happened in the city of Samarra. Iraq's Ministry of Electricity says the Salahuddin power station suffered severe damage after it was hit by Katyusha rockets.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. All praises, glory now to the Most High, the owner, creator, and possessor of all things. Forever live his anointed, beloved Son. In our hearts and minds of the faith we elect. Another honor and humility, MELCHIZEDEK Ministries. I'm your brother and servant, Malaki Macabee. I got my brother Nehemiah, my family bring NehemiYAH on. Got Nehemiah in the back chat. With my brother Yahshua, if you listening, click on that link. Click on that link in the email. I already sent it to you. Nehemiah in the building. My brother.
Yahoo!
Yahoo, hallelujah, hallelujah. All praise and glory now to the Almighty, owner, creator, and possessor of all things. Forever live his anointed, beloved Son in the hearts and minds of the faith we elect, the sinless one, the one seated at the right hand of glory, who will soon return and make his enemies his footstool. Our holy Messiah, messianic to the bone, gristle, Israelite by blood, Nazarene by faith. You know what I mean? Good to see y'all in the building. My brothers hit me up earlier and was saying we need to do get back on, do a brief recap. For y'all that don't know, I was interviewed by the F.O.P.E. Brotherhood last night. Brothers had me on, and it was a very productive interview. It was a very productive interview, you know what I mean? Went over a few scriptures, took questions. It wasn't scripted at all, you know what I mean? And every question that came out, regardless if the person received the answer or not, every question that came out, it got answered. You know what I mean? And that's one thing our people got to get past. Just because you don't like the answer don't mean it's not an answer. Answer still came out. It just all comes down to if you're going to receive it or not. You dig? Also, JEDADIYAH, if you listening, check your email out. That G Foster email, I sent that to you. Go ahead and click on in. Now, I mean, I want to go ahead and split the screen with you brothers and get y'all on here. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my brothers on YouTube and my brothers and sisters on YouTube, my brothers and sisters on Facebook. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's local listening. Shout out to my brother Rock that's over there with my brother Nehemiah right now. Salute, King.
Shalom.
You know what I mean? All praises, glory now to the Most High, my brothers. So Nehemiah, go ahead and talk to us, man. All praises, glory now, and give us your thoughts. You know what I mean? You know, your brother takes any type of critique, any type of criticism. That's one thing that we do. especially on this channel, we're not afraid or against any type of criticism, whether it's for us or against us. You know what I mean? Our whole thing is, you know, just keep it respectful. Regardless if we disagree or not, you can keep it respectful. You know what I mean? There ain't a man on this earth that you're going to agree with in everything. You know what I mean? Nehemiah was sending me some screenshots of some Millie Mouth Negroes last night. Negro fancy himself as my enemy or whatever. But the funny thing about it is, the funny thing about it to me though, Nehemiah, is, you know what I mean? A lot of them cats, like they check for us. We don't check for them. You know what I mean? I ain't saying that bragging. I'm just saying like a lot of these cats that call themselves mad right now, it's just like, if we wasn't doing what we was doing, they wouldn't be out here teaching. They're not out here teaching. They're not out here doing nothing. You know what I mean? They're not, in other words, they're not in the game. They're spectators. At the most, they're cheerleaders. You know what I mean? So, you know, the one brother that you sent me, brother was talking about how, you know, I'm his enemy and all that. But look, we expect that. We expect that. Messiah say, you know what I mean? Blessed the same thing happened to those. Their fathers did the same thing to the prophets. And when your name is cast out as evil, for the Son of Man's sake, rejoice and leap for joy, for great is your reward in heaven. But guess what? They did the same thing to the prophets. You know what I mean? And trip off this, y'all. Trip off this. If you can't find us telling you to sin, to go against the Almighty, and then you look at the reaction of everyone that's affected by this, you understand? That in itself should let you know what we're speaking is truth. I'm going to say it again. If we're not teaching sin, if we're not teaching rebellion, if we're not teaching you to come against the Almighty at all, we're actually teaching you to live life, live a more healthy life, productive life, spiritually, physically, and mentally. You know what I mean? If we're doing that, and the blowback comes from everything from goofy niggas claim they want to murder us, down to people claiming we their enemies, they foaming at the mouth, they doing ad hominem attacks, which means personal attacks. You know what I mean? That should let you know you stand on holy ground and what you represent is the truth. When you speak righteousness and you challenge your people to be better, and in return you get death threats. You know
look, the key point is you
get personal attacks. We on holy ground now. We on holy ground now, you know what I mean? So we embrace that spirit of opposition. We're not angry about it or nothing. We embrace it actually, because it is the same spirit of opposition the prophets went through and the appointed apostles that the Messiah sent forth. They went through the same thing. Same thing. So we embrace it. We're not angry. We actually are joyful behind it. You know what I mean? And nothing is going to stop us from bringing this out. We're going to keep back to back to back to back. Anybody that fancy themselves at war with us, your sword ain't sharp enough and your clip ain't long enough. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, who you at war with? You heard the phrase before, Nehemiah, your arms too short to box with God. The Most High, has poured his spirit out upon us to bring this out. You can't say, well, I can't say what you can't say, but I'm saying what you're saying sounds idiotic if you say, oh, the white man paid them to teach that. Why would your enemy want you healthy and righteous? That's counterproductive. Or
one more time.
Yeah, why would your enemy want you healthy and righteous? That's counterproductive. So that don't make no sense. The white man would pay us to teach you to outlive them. You know what I mean? That makes no sense at all. That's idiotic. You know what I mean? That's idiotic. And many other bonehead, phrases these Negroes coming up with. Let me add Yeshua. I see Yeshua in the building. Shalom, Yeshua in the building, my beloved brother. Talk to me,
Shalom, family. What's the word, y'all? Peace be unto
great. Yeah, peace be unto you and yours, brother. Grace and peace. Grace and peace. Hey, Nehemiah, did you holler at Jedadiah?
Let me try again, bro. I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, tell him I already sent the link through. And we're gonna be real quick though. You know what I mean? We want to go over a few things. Because the one brother asked about the feeding of the masses with the bread and the fishes. I want to hit that. The brother Quanaf asked about the fish after the Messiah resurrected. We hit that. So I want to hit on him feeding the masses with the bread and the fish. We want to hit on these sacrifices and what they really about, because another brother was asking, he was saying that if the sacrifices are not what the Most High meant or wanted, then what's up with the sacrifice of the Messiah? So we're gonna go into that too. And to sit back, just basically give an overall recap. And the one emotional Negro at the end, who was basically his name was Karatazar or whatever. Basically, there's no difference in his doctrine than like the regular Baptist preacher. And for y'all that don't know, I don't know him, but I know of him. I've been watching his work for years. You know what I mean? He don't believe in any commandments. He don't believe in the Shabbat, feast days, none of it. You know what I mean? He don't believe in none of it. You know what I mean? He believes it's all done away with. We believe in the eternal Torah of the Most High. What was written with his finger and the totality of the new covenant is those very laws written with his finger, written on your heart, written in your mind. You know what I mean? That no man should teach you. That no man should teach you. You know what I mean? So because he couldn't see the fact that you know what I mean, the leadership and the authority was actually given to James, the biological brother of the Messiah. He was the one given the authority. You know what I mean? He was the one actually given the authority in the new covenant after the Messiah resurrected and ascended. It was his biological brother James. You know what I mean? That's why Peter had to go report to him after the angel let him out of jail in Acts the 12th chapter. He had to go report to James, Acts 15. Even though Peter speaks first, James is the one that stands up and gives his judgment. Anytime anybody give a judgment, that's someone that's in authority. He gives a judgment about the situation. And what a lot of people don't realize is Paul started doing his own thing. That was his own movement. As you keep reading, you start hearing Paul saying, my gospel, certain men sent by James. And, you know what I mean? A lot of y'all don't realize that there was at war. It's conflict between Paul and the apostles. Conflict between Paul and James and them. And they're shooting shots at each other. When you read the book of James and the book of Galatians, you know what I mean? They're actually responding to one another. I mean, there go my JEDADIYAH right there. Add JEDADIYAH in the building. Shalom, my beloved brother, Yahoo.
Shalom, Hebrew. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good. If y'all can hear my brother, go ahead. If you can hear all those brothers, go ahead and give us a Yahoo in the chat. So we can go ahead and get this started. My one ox say, please pray Yahweh deliver me from these lames so I don't smoke somebody, please, and forgive me. Yeah, brother, don't get in your flesh, y'all. You know what I mean? There's no reason for you to get in your flesh. You dig? All you got to do is just maneuver out the way. You dig? Maneuver out the way. And trip out this, y'all. You always got a right to control your cipher. You don't have to be in the mix or in the cipher with somebody that rub your spirit the wrong way. You know what I mean? If you understand that where it can potentially go the wrong way, then guess what? Remove yourself from the situation. You know what I mean? Remove yourself from the situation. All right. So this right here is a recap. My brothers were saying, come on, so we can chop it up and talk about you know, what y'all witnessed last night based off you know, the interview. The brothers interviewed me last night. You know what I mean? Any critique, any criticism, it's all good. But you know, it was put on my spirit once the brother called me and asked me to come on. It put on my spirit to go head first. Fearless, jump right on out there, so everybody can see. Like we not ducking no train wrecks. We ain't ducking no smoke. You know what I mean? But we not entertaining no insignificant Negroes either. You dig? Like we'll be wasting our time trying to debate and argue with everybody just because they claim they want something. You dig? We do have a debate set up with the one clown, or the one guy, should I say, who calls himself Pastor Deuel. You know what I mean? No need to call him a clown or whatever. But the guy that calls himself Pastor Deuel, I told YAHKI to send him a message that we'll debate him over chicken. Since he loves slaughtering chickens, you know what I mean? He still ain't responded back, by the way. He want to wait a whole year. We ready now. You dig? So just to let y'all know, we already ball in his court. We already, you know, let him know, like, look, we want to debate, and our terms is the yard bird. Let's debate chicken. Since you like slaughtering chickens, we want to debate you on that. You know what I mean? Other than that, it really ain't no point, y'all. We out here healing and teaching. When you're healing and teaching like we called to do. So NehemiYAH, let me know what you think, brother. You know what I mean? Your thoughts, express yourself based off what you saw last night. JEDADIYAH as well. Anybody in the chat, y'all got the will to go ahead and express yourself. My aunt Steve Tillman got a question about Abraham too. So let's make sure we get to him after we, you know what I mean, express ourselves. Go ahead, Hebrews.
Yeah, my quick take is this, man. Dealing with our aunt, you know, who has you know, a spirit he want to go out there and do it. I just lost a nephew yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just lost a nephew yesterday. You know what I'm saying? To gunfire, going to pick up his daughter. You know what I'm saying? Shot in the back. So I know how it is. You know what I'm saying? I know who I was. I know how they come. I know what goes with that whole mindset. But at any time as a man, whether you feel you got to go to war or not, you cannot act on emotion on no level. You got to remove the emotion out of it, and you have to be strategic. When we was as Israel at home in our situation, you would have to have, you know, you would have your men of war or your generals or your council come and talk to you about different strategic moves when it comes to dealing with war. You just don't, oh my God, you did something to me, and onward march. You lose every time.
Right.
That will serve you when you serve your emotion. And I'm not talking about you because I understand. I had to quiet my whole set of sons and nephews, everybody down. You know what I'm talking about? So I understand. You have to be mindful however you move out here. You understand? Because sometimes when you go out, one of y'all ain't coming back home.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to consider that as well. So, and then as far as the class, I put, again, shout out to Elder Quinnock. I actually was on the phone with that brother that morning when the phone call came that my nephew got shot. We got off the phone. And then I had to call him back and tell him that he passed on. You know what I'm saying? That was right before Malaki was finna go live. You feel me? Just getting back in town himself. So last night was good, a lot of emotion. I wish you kind of would have controlled the emotional aspect of it, because that over talking and the same respect that listen, because I ain't trying to disrespect you, but your over talk shows your disrespect.
Right. Right.
You will allow me to listen, but I like how you said back. But I just think to filter out the noise and to where you had to control, go right into told everybody DP Sniper, YAHKI, to go back and hit the things that they thought they might have had you on, bring that out, and then bring out even new revelations that us three talked about earlier today. I've been sitting on script all day today. And you know, I try to want to talk on that at the back end. Or however we talk on that Daniel chapter 9. You know what I'm saying? Abomination, desolation. You see what I'm saying? And look, and have y'all chime in on that. All right. I sent that out to everybody. So if we ain't got your contact, you want to be a part of the contact, my information is in the description box. Email me, and I'll definitely get you on deck. So you can be a part of these, you know, forums and diatribes and all that.
Diatribe, huh? He broke.
All right, there you go, JEDADIYAH. Help yourself, bro.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a good thing, Mally. You just got in town. A lot of people probably don't know that, but you just in town, or you just got in town, and you went straight at it. You know what I'm saying? It was like no prep work, no nothing. Back when I used to rap, we used to call that like off the dome, like freestyling. Pretty much, that's pretty much the way you went about it, and you operated in faith. You know what I'm saying? With knowing that the disturbance or the shaking that this understanding or this revelation has caused in our nation. You know what I'm saying? So you just come out like that. You know what I'm saying? No fear. I salute you and I commend you. I would just say keep on going and allow people to really soak it in. You know, some listening, some ain't listening, some scoffing. I just say keep doing what you're doing, and you got brothers behind you. You know what I'm saying? When I first came into this whole Israelite thing, I came from a lot of Christianity. So it was hard for me to see that I was an Israelite. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now with this new revelation, this understanding, naturally it's gonna be hard for some to see it. But if they just sit back, you know what I'm saying, really sit back and let the spirit speak to them, let the Most High speak to them and listen, then I believe that they will see it.
Right. Right. Hallelujah, brother.
You know what
You
I'm
know what I
saying?
mean? Yeah, I just you know, hey, when the Ruach move, you know what I mean, I like to be on board. All on board, all aboard, it's the train moving. You know what I mean? And it looked like you say it was off the top of the dome. I just drove 9 hours. You know what I mean, by the time I came right, I parked, just came right in the house, took the computer out my bag and started sending out get my correspondence with the elder Konaf. Like, hey, I'm ready. Let's get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was a few people that hit me up and was saying they really appreciated that. You know what I mean? You know, that I mean, I guess people could see that I'm very convinced in what we talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hey, I'm not like, this ain't no game. This ain't for, you know what I mean, shits and giggles. This ain't for filthy lucre. This ain't for none of that. You know what I mean? No, that makes sense. Oh, you dig? And you know, all I can do for anybody that was offended, well, if y'all know me, well, y'all know. I don't know how to like false shoot nothing. I don't know how to, you know, Gregory Hines my way of be diplomatically correct about nothing at all. You know what I mean? Once I see it and what it is, that's just me. I know how to go hard, body at it, and you know what I mean. All praise to the Most High Spirit. I mean, you know what I mean. So all praises, all praise, glory, night. Yeshua, where you at?
Yeah, I'm right here, Hebrew. My stuff just been tripping, man. This phone, man. Usually I be on the computer, but man, this phone been tripping. But hey, look, man. Hey, look. Like our brother JEDADIYAH said, you know what I'm saying? I salute you and commend you, brother. You know what I'm saying? That was quick fire. You know what I'm saying? That was quick fire. I'm like, yeah. I definitely appreciated it, bro. You know what I'm saying? To get on there, you know what I'm saying, and sit in the hot seat, you know what I'm saying, and let the people know that, you know, this is what it is, you know what I'm saying, and this is what we stand on.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And you know, and let that be like inspirational for anybody else that may be like on the fence or whatever. Look, it ain't nothing to be afraid of, man. When you and that's what I wanted to say to the one guy that was saying, well, Paul said you eat herbs, you weak, meaning weak in the faith. I was about to say to him, like, does this look like I'm weak in the faith? I'm on here by myself. And you mean weak in the faith? If this ain't full belief, what do you call it? I'm on here by myself, unscripted, don't know what y'all. I told enough. I don't even want to know what no question nobody got. I don't even want to know the question you got. Whatever question you got, shoot it at me while we laugh. You know what I mean? And all praises to the Most High, man. Of course, you know, before we ever get down with anything, man, well, you know what I mean? We always pray. You dig? And that's what I did for one live. I asked the Most High to be with me. You dig? And went to war in full faith. So all praises, glory now to the Most High. All right, brothers. I know NehemiYAH, you had sent some out earlier that was very profound. I just want to remind me to answer the brother, because the brother asked something last night about Messiah feeding the multitude bread and fish. All right. What was the other one?
The one about the bishop.
Yeah, the one. No, not that one. The one about the well, if sacrifices are wrong, then why is the Messiah looked at as a sacrifice?
As a sacrifice.
Okay, that one. Somebody asked about Cain and Abel and their sacrifices. Okay. And that one about the bishop, and the bishop wasn't even in the verse he went to. You dig? Which was like, bro, you just cut yourself. And then and went to Timothy as if Timothy got authority to ordain bishops. You know what I mean? The whole thing, the whole authority was coming out of Jerusalem. And I read that last night to the guy, Karatazar. the authority was coming out of Jerusalem. You know what I mean? James was the bishop of bishops, of all the Hebrews, of all the assemblies of the Messiah. Yeah, we got a little static. I don't know where that's from. You know what I mean? But yeah, Jedediah is muted. So somebody else said something too. The poor little tink looking for exposure again. Jedediah Malek. But y'all listen to me. I know that guy. Okay, in 20, listen to me. I'm not even addressing this guy because he don't even deserve what I'm about to say. But in 2012, the guy over Kai Yeshua, Jedediah Malek, was caught up in the whole Mayan calendar end of the world mumbo jumbo. 2012, I was 7 or 8 years in this Israelite walk. In 2012, okay, this Negro came out and said that the world was going to end on the Feast of Trumpets 2012. If it wasn't 2012, it was 2010. One of them years up in there. All right. Obviously, he's a false prophet. Obviously, he never repented from that. And the nigga keep trying to run Jonah. Well, Jonah prophesied Nineveh was going to get destroyed. And it didn't get destroyed. But go read the story, poor little tank. Read the story. Everybody in Nineveh repented, and look, even the animals were put in sackcloth. You can't compare that with this world today, nor America. You feel me? So that's just him trying to, and then look, the whole nation jumped out there and hit his top, right? When he messed up. When he messed up and came out with that, right? Me as a brother that's honorable, I ain't even mentioned it. Because everybody was kicking him while he was down, making video after video after video about him being a false prophet. I'm charged with being honorable even in warfare, but my enemies don't act the same way. So now this Negro got the nerve to start trying to make videos and try to come against my YAHKI, you dig? And then he gonna freeze a video picture of bruh holding up a book, a Hindu book about chakras. But if you watch the video, YAHKI called the book evil. He just held the book up to show they get the knowledge of the various energy points in your body out the Bible. Out the Bible. We ain't no Hindus over here. And everybody know that. Then nigga try to find, because YAHKI teach with his hands sometimes. Sometimes I do too. If you catch me and freeze a picture sometimes, you may catch me like this, or like this, or like this. Get the hell out of here, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these niggas is clowns, and they're not even worth us mentioning. And I told the young gunner that earlier because he called me. I'm like, look, they arms too short to box with God. Jedediah Malek is, look about this, unhealthy and soft. Unhealthy and SOF capital T. And the nigga's a false prophet. And he never repented. So again, he ain't doing nothing but reinvent himself, hide for about 5 years, come back out and reinvent himself. And now the new age Israelites, people who don't know he was around back in 2012, you know what I mean, falsely prophesying, think that he's some type of guru or, the groovy guru. No, I know these guys. I know them. You see what I'm saying? So that's all poor little tink gonna get from me. You dig? I think YAHKI gonna do something in a few hours and just, hit him and little Ty serve running his mouth too. Like, none of you guys want nothing over here. You know what I mean? And look, ain't nobody even checking for y'all when it come down to teaching. So just keep it moving, man. Relax with all that. You dig? Relax with all that. All y'all ain't doing nothing but looking for because y'all think everybody firing and honor and humility as if we ashamed. Look, we outside with our swords. We ain't ducking nothing. Check the interview from last night. I wasn't tap dancing. I wasn't ducking, and I ain't ducking nothing still. Nor or any of my brothers. NehemiYAH got the breakdown on this, y'all. And NehemiYAH don't even got all the research in the books we got. NehemiYAH come right out the Bible and prove what we saying. You see what I'm saying? So all praise is glory now to the Most High. All right. So yeah, brother, ain't none of that. You know what I mean? And let's go ahead and get her done. All right, how y'all want to start this? I know the bros was bringing out something earlier. Me, you was talking about Daniel 9. Y'all want to answer the questions and then bring out the Daniel 9 and all that? How y'all want to do this?
What y'all want to do, audience? If you want to talk about that Bible verse I sent out earlier, that Daniel chapter 9.
Here, let's do it like this. Let's do the Daniel 9 and what we was talking about on the phone. You know what I mean? Let's do that toward the end. All right. Let's do that toward the end. Let's go ahead and get into where the one brother asked about did the Messiah feed the masses bread and fish, as we read in the scriptures. We do read that. That's one thing. We're not saying you're not reading that in what you call the New Testament or the Gospels. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people are unaware that there were many Gospels. There were many Besoras. There were many writings about the Messiah's life floating around during his life and right after he died. To prove that, let's go to Luke 1:1. Let me show y'all what I'm saying. Luke 1:1. It's right in your Bible that there are many versions and many translations and many Gospels. You know what it is? Our people have gotten to the point to where they're indoctrinated, to where it's only what we got in the 66 books. And if you were subscribed to the Apocrypha, 80 books, right? But you never ask yourself, you know what I mean, what councils was held and who got the right to claim what is heretical and what is authorized? You never ask yourself that. You know what I mean? Everywhere where you've been in captivity, your enemies have had your records. You know what I mean? You never ask yourself, okay, why the Epistle of Barnabas ain't in the Bible? Why the Gospel of Thomas ain't in the Bible? You know what I mean? Why the Clementine homilies and the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles? Why that's not in the Bible? You know what I mean? What are the writings of Andrew and Bartholomew and where are all the writings of the 12 apostles that the Messiah breathed the Ruach on and then gave his fiery tongues to in the book of Acts? Where are they writings at? And being that their writings are around, who decided that they were canonical, meaning accepted, and who decided what was heretical, meaning rejected? Now you got to get into church history. Now you got to get into all the councils. Y'all trip off this. There were ecumenical councils held from 325 AD, which is the Council of Nicaea, all the way up into the 1800s. You talking about 1,500 years. 1,500 years of men who mostly weren't even Israelites deciding the totality of what was accepted and what was rejected concerning your books. Y'all all know that. A lot of y'all got the pseudepigraphers, right? Pseudepigrapha. They got pseudo in it. Y'all know pseudo means false, right? When they say pseudoscience, that means false science. Pseudepigrapha mean like false books. Apocrypha means hidden. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying, who gave whoever the authority to put pseudepigrapha on the books in our history? Or the Apocrypha in our history? Why Jubilees, Enoch, Jasher? Where all your history at? Y'all know it's thousands of books concerning our history. And only 80 books made the Bible?
That's what they wanted you to have.
And then there was another council held, and that council decided to take out the Apocrypha and leave you with what you got now. It's the 66 books. Protestant Reformation. You dig? That's why you run around with the little red book. It's called the Apocrypha. You see what I'm saying? There were many councils held, man. So again, we're not mad because a lot of our people are not dealing with the same bits of information, and that's why we're bringing this out. You know what I mean? Y'all, there are writings out there that, you know what I mean, or more pieces to the puzzle. that'll clear a lot of things up for you. You know what I mean? But you got to get out of that indoctrinating spirit to where, oh, that ain't the Bible. Oh, that's another book. You know, you're only saying that. Look, you're only saying that because of the ecumenical councils that were held over 1,500 years of them, way before you was even born, to receive what you call a Bible. There were many councils held. There were many revisions. There were many redactions. There were many additions, all to fit certain agendas. Thus, the prophecy of Jeremiah 8:8 was alive. The false praying of the scribes was alive in his day. It was alive in the Messiah's day because he was at war with the scribes. You know what I mean? At war after him, 1,500 years with all these different councils. And y'all alive even in our day, because there are many Bibles that have came out after the KJV, such as the New International Version. That came out in your lifetime. Aren't there verses missing out of that? That's
Jehovah
just
Witness Bible.
Go ahead, Nehemiah.
I'm saying the Jehovah Witness Bible, the New Gay Bible. You got these NKJV, the Scriptures Bible, even that false prophet Hebrew. He wrote a Hebrew Bible, or he rescribed the Bible. We call them Yahoo Scriptures. So yeah, look, and that's a problem. You're scared to open anything else. The same thing that happened to y'all in the church has now happened to you in the Hebrew community. If you don't think as we think, believe as we believe, you know what I'm saying, or come from this school of thought, you're not in the truth. That's what the Baptists told them about the Lutherans said about the Catholics, the Catholicism said about all those other religions. You're in the same soup. You just found out who you was, but you're in the mindset of the same confusion, right? It should not scare you. You don't get scared to open a Stephen King's book. You don't get scared to open a People's Magazine or a Jet magazine. But all of a sudden, when you got something that pertains to the Holy Notes, you're scared to open it. And you're scared to critically look at the information and to see what's good. Keep that which is good and discard that which is false. You're just scared because you're indoctrinated. If I see her, and look, just the basic part that shows if you're scared of being indoctrinated. You start off in the beginning. Genesis 1. You got a diet given by God before all diets, right? Given to you by the Most High before all diets, right? Then you get to Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14. And I'm going to give you this, the understanding. That was given to you, and it sits outside of the ark against you because of your rebellion. The same way he gave you quail. Why are you asking for meat in the wilderness, right? When you got flocks that you brought out of Egypt, you just killed a lot of lambs, and you just put the blood on the doorpost and just chomped down on a whole bunch of lamb chops, and you took a whole lot of wealth, gold, and your flocks all out of Egypt. So if you got flocks, you got meat, you eat meat, and you ain't scared to eat meat because you just did Exodus 12, why are you asking the Lord to give you meat now? And then you get all the way to Revelations, and then you go into the prophets, and you find out, guess what? The animals are not eating animals no more, and you're not eating meat no more again. Now, if you run and you say God's not the author of confusion, and then you get that, and you're scared to say, I need to deeply look into it, or you just to be like, oh, it's harmony, then you're definitely indoctrinated. Because me eating fruit and then me eating meat is not the same diet. Can we agree with that? Me eating fruit and herbs and vegetables is not the same as me eating meat. And then when you go to Ecclesiastes 3:15, and he tells you, I require that which is past. And then you go to Malachi 3, and he tells you, I change not. You see what I'm saying? And you go to all these precepts, because you learned in the Bible that line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little. And that same prophet that taught you how to get knowledge, it's the same prophet telling you that the Most High didn't require you to do no sacrifices or none of that coming out of Egypt. And then now, you scared to open another book, or if you do it, you do it when the camera off. Hey man, let me see that book. And then now you go in and do Nicodemus, and having private conversations with me or Mally or like a Rock or somebody behind closed doors to try to figure out what's going on. You indoctrinated. You see what I'm saying? And that's okay. Because listen, it's not meant to be given to everybody anyway. You found out you Israel. Everybody knew that was Israel at the time of Mashiach anyway. And guess what? You would have been mad at a Mashiach because Mashiach told you you can't put your wife away for any reason. Moses said I could. From the beginning it was not so. Now you mad, right? He told you, don't make my father's house a house of thieves. You know what I'm saying? And all this, and he turned over the money tables, and he set animals free. And guess what you would have did with the Messiah? You've been mad again. Why? Because he's moving against a system that you have foreknown all your life to have been passed down, right? You are the same people. When Christ tell you, ye are the people that killed the prophets, why they kill the prophets? They tell them because, hey, priest, you're doing good. Israel, you're going fine. Oh, man, they was talking. They tried to kill the prophets because they told them there was idol worship. Well, if the priest was in place and the temple sacrifices are going on, how was they in idol worship? Something else is going on. But we'll discuss that by the end. You see what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is what's in the beginning is what is going to be. He changes not. So at some point, you are picking and choosing anyway. I'll give you an example. Joseph is the father is in the Bible. Virgin birth is in the Bible. Which one you ascribe to? You pick and choose. Turn the other cheek, or look, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Which one you believe? Christ was born, died, and buried for your sins, or you just Old Testament only? Pick and choose. I accept the Apocrypha, I don't accept the Apocrypha. Pick and choose. Oh, man, I deal with Enoch, I don't deal with Enoch. Pick and choose. The Sabbath is in there, but I'm done away with your Sabbath. Falsely understood. Some Israelites don't keep the Shabbat. Some Israelites keep the Shabbat. You read them, you might not get it right, but you read them both in there. You see what I'm saying? New moons and no new moons. All I'm saying is all these things are in the Bible, and you basically pick which one fits you. Instead of saying, I'm going to take the one that the Messiah took. And that's just where I'm at. And I believe that's where the brothers at here. You know what I'm saying? And we're not mad at you or hate you or don't call you bruh if you choose that guy. You see what I'm saying? Time will tell.
Time will tell, brother. Time will tell. Hallelujah. Indeed. But once again, y'all, we embrace the spirit of opposition because that's the very same spirit that came against everybody that the Most High called to teach, to heal, all that. You know what I mean? But you know, we are men, so at times, you know, we be like, "What's up, then?" You dig? But we even got to check that amongst ourselves. You dig? You did look. The very spirit that came against the Messiah, he actually told us to jump for joy and rejoice, for your reward is great in heaven. You understand? That same spirit that feeling threatened and that spirit of warfare and opposition came at their fathers, did the same thing to every righteous man that came before. You dig? So we even gotta, you know, have discipline within ourselves to understand when threats are being thrown out there and people foaming at the mouth and mumble mouth Negroes who ain't tough at all running their mouth. We even got to have the discipline to be like, hey, great is our reward in heaven. Hallelujah. You know what I mean? Because it ain't even about all that. You don't see the Messiah and them putting packs on, you know what I mean? Putting packs on the high priest's head. I'll put a 10-pack on his head. Go ahead and hit Caiaphas real quick. You know what I mean? You'll see John the Baptist putting a pack on Herod's head. You know what I mean? Get him hit. You dig? So we got to watch that too. You know what I mean? I'm talking about us on this side that's coming out with this revelation and coming out with this revolution. You dig? And are not teaching our people to sin. You dig? We got to be, we have to develop the discipline and the righteous spirit to be like, forgive them, Father, they don't know what they're doing. And leave it at that. You know what I mean? And that'll show, you know what I mean, who really his disciples are and who ain't. You know what I mean? Let these men get personal, man. They all get personal. They dig, but to none avail. To none avail. You know what I mean? To none avail, my brothers. All right, so first thing I want to do I want to answer right off the gate. I want to answer this about the fish, you know what I mean, and the bread in the desert, because that's what you read, right? Before that, I want to go to Luke 1, though. I'm going to show y'all there were many gospels around during the disciples' times. All right. So people getting mad because we're going to an older gospel. The gospel of the Holy 12 or the gospel of the Nazarenes is basically the same book. You understand? That gospel is the earliest recorded record of who we call Yahushua, Jesus the Christ. You know what I mean? This book right here. All right. You may not agree with everything that's in it. I mean, that's because of indoctrination is understood. You understand? You got to get back to receiving what resonates with your spirit. You can't receive nothing if you don't feel it. If you don't feel it, you can't receive it. You know what I mean? So that's understandable. You dig? But that just because you don't feel it does not make it true that it's the oldest gospel recorded of Messiah. You know what I mean? All we got to do is go into the introduction and all that. And I'll do that and then jump down to 29 and address. Was it really fish in the desert, y'all? Fish in the desert. Did they cook the fish? Was it fried fish? Was it sushi? What kind of fish we talking about?
Baby, what you mean? Fish,
right? Fish, Joe. What kind of fish was this? You never asked yourself. Did they just eat raw fish? What kind of fish were they chewing on? If we gonna run with the narrative in Matthew and John about the Messiah doing miracles, in which he did do miracles, you know what I mean? But it was of bread and fish in the desert. All right. Well, brother asked a question, and I wanted to go there last night, but Quanaf had to, he was like, all right, man, no, you answered, you cool. But no, I really didn't get the answer, so I wanted to show y'all. Look, we're not ducking. We know that you read in what you have as your authorized New Testament that it was bread and fish in the desert. All right. But according to an older gospel, that's not the case. Just like y'all, there's older records of the of the Old Testament. The Septuagint is older than the Masoretic text. Truth. That's the truth. And after that, you got your Peshitta that came out in Aramaic around the 1st or 2nd century. You got older versions of what you call the Bible. You know what I mean? All right. So all praise and glory now to the Most High. All right. So let's get this done right here. Let me show y'all this real quick. Luke chapter 1 for y'all that don't know. Luke chapter 1. Yeah, poor little Tink can keep going live, man. Let him. We ain't even gonna give him no attention. All right. Dig. He's soft. He been soft. That's all the attention he gonna get from us. We done talking about poor little Tink. All right, Luke chapter 1. Trip about this, y'all. A lot of us didn't know this was here. All right, NehemiYAH. Can you read that for me, brother?
All right, it says Luke chapter 1, verse 1. For as much as many have taken in hand to set forth in order a declaration of those things which are most surely believed among us.
Now, trip off that. It says many. This is in Luke's day. Many have taken in hand to set forth in order a declaration to declare of those things which are most surely believed among us. What does it mean, many to take in hand and to set forth a declaration? How do you set forth a declaration with your hand? You got to write it down. There's something called the Declaration of Independence. Isn't that a written document?
It is a written document.
Yeah, well, Luke is saying many have done this. Many have done this, for as much as many have taken in hand to set forth in order a declaration of those things which are most surely believed among us. Y'all, what Luke is saying right there is that there are many writings, many records during his time about the gospel, about the Messiah. If that's not the case, then all you gotta do is ask somebody, what does it mean to make a declaration by hand? And he says many. He don't even say a few, he says many. Verse 2, what does it say, brother?
All right. Verse 2. Even as they delivered them unto us, which from the beginning were our witnesses and ministers of the word.
Go ahead, verse 3.
It seemed good to me also, having had perfect understanding of all things, from the very first, to write unto thee in order, most excellent Theophilus.
No, so what I said about it in verse 1 must be true, because he's talking about writing. Y'all see that? So what you have in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, I just want to show that real quick. What you have in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, brothers and sisters, even in Luke day, was not the only record or the only gospel in the earth. There were many recorded accounts about HaMashiach Yahushua. Many. You know what I mean? And look, Luke just said it. If not, how do you make a declaration by hand? What do you have to do? You got to write it. You got to write it. All right. So I went there to show that. So your own Bible says there are many versions or many recorded accounts of the gospel and the life of Messiah. Didn't we just read that? Your own Bible says it. And I went there, so when people be like, "Oh, why you got to go outside the Bible?" What you have is the Bible is not the only recorded account of HaMashiach Yahushua. Okay, that's just truth.
Many books are written about him.
You say what, brother?
It says many books are written about him that world can even hold it.
That's right. That's right. So we're about this. It's time to come down off the religious high. You know what I mean? Or rise up out of your religious stupor and deal with this from a critical mindset. That's it. All right. Now, watch this. Now I want to go answer the first question about the fish. I'm about to go to the introduction first of the Gospel of the Holy 12. I want to read that real quick. And then we're going to jump down to chapter 29, if that's cool with the brothers. Right? And then y'all jump in whenever, bro. It's all good. Y'all already know.
When you go on and do that and pull it up, I'm just going to say, look, I just posted a scripture in the room, right? Again, whether it's friend or foe, what the scripture say? People don't even follow the Bible they believe in, right? Because it says clearly, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 19:8, whether it be friend or foe, talk not on other man's lives. And if thou canst without offense, reveal them not. You see what I'm saying? So again, a man like that who had gave you a false prophecy back in the day would be a dead man right now. He wouldn't even be live. So treat him as such.
Right. Keep it moving. That's all you got to do. Hey, look, what a lot of these mumble mouth Negroes ain't figured out, Nehemiah, is this. The more y'all talk about us, the more your people won't come over and listen.
Because you know why? They want to hear the next thing you got to say.
Exactly.
Howard Stern even said that. He said the largest part of my following are the people that don't like me. Why? Because they want to hear the next thing I got to say.
Yeah.
They want to hear the next thing I got to say so they can be mad again.
Yeah.
That's a psychosis. For you to keep going back to somebody's channel that you don't like. And look, and now y'all know why. By the time we start the video, there's already one dislike. By the time we get 5 minutes in, there's 2 dislikes.
Yeah.
Right? And by the time we get 1 hour in, there's 4. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And it's one thing you can't do is satisfy everybody.
Yeah, we ain't trying to. You know what I mean? That's why we always say shout out to all the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. You know what I mean? We love y'all too. Love y'all too. It's all good. All right, this right here for y'all, this first time listening. This right here is called the Gospel of the Holy 12. All right. Jedadiah or Nehemiah, if you can, go ahead and read some of that for us. That way our people can get some understanding about what we're reading. This is not nothing a heathen fought it and scratched his side and wrote 100 years ago. All right, let's get her done, brother. Who got it?
What's up, nigga? You want me to get it? Yeah, it's small. I'm on my phone, so it's small. But
Okay, let NehemiYAH get it then.
Yeah, it's small on my screen too, but I'm gonna go grab my book. Hold on.
I get it. It's a Origins of the Gospel of the Holy 12.
Yeah.
The gospel record is the recovered document from which the four gospels as we have them today were built upon. It was the first formulated life of the Christ and was written by St. John about the year 70 AD when he was imprisoned in Rome and given page by page to one he could trust.
Now trip off that. All right. So this right here is the origin of it, and it's saying it was written by one whom the Messiah breathed the Holy Spirit on. John the Apostle. John who wrote the Gospel of John. John who wrote 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and even Revelation. All right. All right. Is recovered document in which the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, as we have them today, were built upon. What you have today is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John was built upon this gospel right here. All right. And was written during the 1st century, right around the fall of Jerusalem. All right, go ahead.
When the scrolls was completed, and after its content had been made known to the apostles, it was taken to Tibet by the same disciple who left it in the care of the unnamed Lama here. Here it remained until a friar named Placidus visited the monastery in the 1870s and asked if he might show it to the church authorities in Rome.
Go ahead.
And also, to just speak on that a little bit, Christ, from age 13 to around age 30, you really have no writings of him. Or you would think you have no writings of him, but you actually do. It's a bunch of writings out there that speak about that time period in his life, and all those writings come from out of Tibet.
Yeah, yep. We'll do a class on that too. The childhood of Yahshua the Nazarene. That's one of them chapters in the. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
A lot of that time in his life, he was in that area. An area of Tibet.
That's right, brother. And then look, you know what? I want to say this too, because I heard somebody, they was like, "Oh no, it was in Tibet." You can't listen to that. But look, a lot of your biblical records, majority of them come out of the catacombs in Rome. They come out of the catacombs in Rome, don't they? So if you can accept biblical books out of the catacombs of Rome, what's the difference between Rome and Tibet? What do you mean? Don't be hypocritical. All right, go ahead, Hebrew. What else we got?
The scrolls were then given to him, and on the way home, which took a long time, he translated a portion of it into Latin. And on his arrival in Rome, read it to the assembled cardinals. At first, they were impressed, but as he proceeded to reveal the contents, they realized that to make it known would discredit the church, which had, during the Council of Nicaea, eliminated from the gospel the master teacher about the love and care of animals and about abstaining from eating flesh foods. And so the scroll was hidden away in the archives of the Vatican, where it remains to this day.
Y'all see that? He's saying at first it was received, but then when they realized, oh no, this goes directly against what went down at the Council of Nicaea. This would discredit the church. This would discredit the church because it goes directly against the Council of Nicaea, which was the first ecumenical council, which in 325 AD, and the last one, y'all, was like in the 1870s, I believe. Over 1,500 years of men having their hands on your records and deciding what is authorized and what is heretical. And they consider this heretical. Why? Because the master had love and courage, not only for man, but for even the creation of the Most High, other creation of the Most High, the fellow creatures or the animals, and the abstaining from eating flesh pots. Yeah, but that makes sense because when we come out with this, it rattled Israel, boy. Oh, it dropped a bomb in Israel. They got all these mealy mouth Negroes trying to make videos and pop shots. But it's just like squirting a water gun at an elephant. That's it. You know what I mean? Watch this. Go ahead, Hebrew. Watch this.
Okay, it say the reason this gospel contains much that is in St. Matthew, St. Mark, St. Luke, and St. John is because there were many gospels written about the time containing the true teachings of Yahshua.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that? I just went to Luke in the Bible and showed that Luke said many have taken by hand to make a declaration and write down. There are many. This right here in the introduction say the same thing. Because there were many gospels written about this time containing the true teaching of Yahushua. You know what I mean? So you are really limiting yourself. You don't have all the pieces to the puzzle if you're just saying, you know what I mean, I'm just going to stick with what's in her. You dig? Because y'all, there were many accounts of the life of the Messiah. And that's why a lot of the stories are similar. You know what I mean? That you read in the Gospel of the Holy 12. But what's beyond different and what's radical and got everybody shook up is the abstaining from them flesh pots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look, let the animals live, man. We guardians of creation. All right? What else to say? But this was the what?
We talking about, hey, Maccabee, we talking about the creator. What you be saying? The owner, creator, possessor of all the heaven and the universe. You can't contain all that power in one book, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Real talk. Real talk. You know what I mean? So, I mean, a lot of people mad, but we done leveled up. We done graduated. You know what I mean? And we going to put all the pieces of the puzzle on the table. That is what it is. But what else to say? But this was the what? But this was the only.
But this was the only one that escaped the pen of the correctors because they did not know of its existence.
They did not know of its existence. It was written around 70 AD while John the Apostle was locked up in Rome, given to one of his disciples, you know, page by page, and it was hidden up in the monasteries of Tibet. And this friar, you know what I mean, didn't get a hold of it to the 1800s. Oh, wait. All right, go ahead, Hebrew. What else to say?
The other gospels contain the teaching of Yahshua about the avoidance of meat eating and about the love for animals. But all these teachings, or by all this teaching, was eliminated by the correctors. The gospel of the Holy 12 is an authentic gospel and should be accepted just as it is as the original teachings of Yahushua.
Y'all hear this? Straight up. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Like all sacred scriptures, the gospel of the Holy 12 is mystical. And for right understanding, it must be so interpreted. Its value lies in the teaching which in the garment is veiled. To understand the teaching, the garment must be lifted or removed. Then falsehood passes away, but truth remains. In all sacred.
That's it right there. We're going to stop right there, bro. All right. Let me drop that. And we're going to go down. We're going to answer the question from last night about, well, did the Messiah feed the masses? You know what I mean? Bread and fish in the desert. I just wanted to go over the introduction of that with y'all, just in case anyone is listening for the first time. You know what I mean? Just in case anybody listening for the first time think that this is just something that, you know, some white man rolled over and wrote 100 years ago out of the figment of his imagination. It actually was written according to what we just read by John the Apostle. Hey, and he's one of the disciples that the Messiah breathed the Ruach, the Holy Spirit on. And he's one of the disciples who the fiery tongues in Acts the 2nd chapter is rested upon. Okay, well, he's the one that wrote this. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over. We're gonna jump over to chapter 29. All right, I just wanted to make sure y'all understood that. If y'all understand that this right here is a 1st century document. All right, if you understand that, go ahead and give us a 7 up in the chat. I don't want to lose nobody. All right, that's what we don't want to do. We do not want to lose anybody dealing with this.
Who was reading out this book? Who's reading out here?
All right, let me drop that real quick, and then we're gonna let me do a search.
It's on page 73, right?
Yeah, 73.
Y'all, don't be afraid. Listen, the people who talk mess about you looking at other books are the same people that pick up Jash and Apocrypha, are the same ones that pick up Enoch, and the same ones that read out of the pseudos, and the same ones that go to Josephus, and Josephus came from a Greek perspective, even though he was a Hebrew historian. So what I'm saying is, don't let people get you with hypocrisy. If you're saying close this book, then let's be fair. Close all other books except for 66.
And look, in the 66, it talk about a whole bunch of other books that you ain't even got.
And Joshua got conflicts with the KJV.
Exactly.
And the Bible tells you to read from the book of Joshua. Come on, man.
All good.
I'm just saying, just don't be hypocritical. And listen, you can never complete a puzzle if you think that your history came out of 1611 and that's where it started at.
No doubt, brother.
It can't be from there. Listen, Israel is older than 1611. But look, like Malaki say, look, my book barely been cracked. You don't even see a scene in the bind. I'm starting to open it for the first time just to read. You know, so I can read from here while it's on screen with y'all.
Read it on the screen, just in case it's a little bit. Sometimes it's worded a little different. Read on the screen if you can.
All right, well, let me make my screen a little bigger then, bro. I know what to do. I got 2 tabs up anyway. There we go.
We're gonna read 1 through 9. And this is the answer to the brother's question from last night. I didn't get a chance to get it because Quinaf was like, "No, you already answered it." You know what I mean? I told him what it was, and this is in an older version. It's not bread and fish; it's bread and grapes, which make more sense anyway if you think about it, y'all. It was in the desert. I mean, what kind of fish? What it was? Fried fish, broiled fish, raw fish. Fish you talking about?
Unless they had 5,000 fires going.
You know what I mean? Let's get her done, bro.
And look, ain't nobody starting no fire in the desert. It's already hot.
Oh, wait. Chapter 29, election 29, gospel of the Holy 12, the feeding of the 5,000 with 6 loaves, 7 clusters of grapes, and healing the sick. Let's get it done, Nehemiah.
Verse 1. And the feast of Passover drew nigh, and apostles and their fellow gathered themselves together unto Yahushua and told him all things, both what they had done and what they had thought. And he had said unto them, come ye yourselves apart into the desert place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat.
Right, go ahead.
And they departed into the desert place by ship privately. And the people saw.
And the people saw them.
Okay. People saw them departing, and many knew him and ran afoot thither out of all cities, and outwent them and came together unto him.
Come on.
And Yahushua, when came forth, saw much people and was moved with compassion towards them, because they were as sheep having not a shepherd.
Go ahead.
And why would he say that in the time when the Levitical priesthood was in place and the Sanhedrin? Stage is set. And the day was far spent. And his disciples came unto him and said, This is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that they may go into the country, round about into villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat.
Go ahead.
He answered and said unto them, Give them to eat.
Give ye them to eat. Go ahead.
And they said unto him, Shall we go and buy 200 pennyworths of bread and give them to eat? Notice he ain't talking about going to slaughter, drain blood, choke, or cut, set fire. You know how many it would take to feed 5,000? How much blood would stay in the sand with that? How much blood would it take to feed them to stay in the sand with just regular flesh, as you would call it, like, lamb or something? But even with fish, that's a lot of fish. And you got to have some way to prepare it unless they ate it raw.
Absolutely. Make it make sense. YAH, the Way, the Truth, and the Life. You can get that off Amazon, or we can put the PDF in the chat. You just had a PDF on your computer or your phone. You know what I mean? I'll put it in the chat for you. You just, click on it and download it or whatnot. That's the one we reading from. And also the Gospel of the Nazarenes, where they both basically the same book. It's worded a little different in some places, but for the most part, it's telling the same thing. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Verse 6. And he said unto them, How many loaves have we? Go and see. And when they knew, they said, 6 loaves and 7 clusters of grapes.
And what is that?
7 clusters of grapes and 6
loaves and 7 clusters of grapes. Right? The oldest version, the oldest recorded record or gospel of the Messiah's life, it ain't bread and fish, y'all. It's bread and grapes. You know
Which
what I
would
mean?
make sense if you're in the desert, because you would need some type of hydration.
Yeah. But what's wild is, see, a lot of people don't ask to get edified. They ask for contradiction. You know what I mean? So when people ask that question and then we come with an answer, just because you don't like the answer does not mean that you weren't answered. We got to get out of that. You know what I mean? Even if you don't like the answer that I came with last night, I still produced an answer. You know what I mean? And it ain't just an answer off the top of my head. It could have been. Yeah, it could have been. So you telling me it was biscuits and jelly? Biscuits and jelly in the desert. That what you telling me?
Biscuits, baby.
You know what I mean? That would a nigga. Oh, what you talking about? Bread and grape? That's not like biscuit and jelly. You know what I mean? I ain't come off the top of my head with it. I'm showing it to show that according to an older account of what happened, it was bread and grapes. You know what I mean? Now, if you didn't know that answer or that account was out there, now you know. The only thing that it comes down to now, y'all, is if you receive the answer or not. I can't make you receive this. NehemiYAH can't make you receive it. JEDADIYAH can't make you receive it. You know what I mean? Like, I have nothing to do with you receiving an answer. I can only give you an answer. But you have to be prepared and opened up to receive certain revelations of truth. That's just what it is. All right. So now we see that it was low. It was bread and grapes. Go ahead, Hebrew.
And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies of 50 upon the grass. And they sat down and ranked by hundreds and by 50s. And when he had taken the 6 loaves and 7 clusters of grape, he looked up to heaven and blessed and brake the bread. And the grapes also he gave them to his disciples to set before them. They divided them all. They divided them among them all. And they did all eat and were filled. And they took up 12 baskets full of fragments that were left. And they did eat of the loaves and of the fruit, were about 5,000 men, women, and children, had he taught them many things.
Verse 9.
And when the people had seen and heard, they were filled with gladness and said, truly, this is that prophet that should come into the world. And when he perceived that they would take him by force to make him king, he straightway constrained his disciples to keep into the ship and to go to the other side before him unto Bethsaida, while he sent away the people.
All right, so that's it right there. I just want to show y'all that, right? And show you according, it ain't like we don't have an answer, y'all. It ain't like we came outside with this understanding, not knowing that the Messiah, according to what we read in the Bible, fed them fish. You know what I mean? And true about this, and even ate fish according to Luke. You know what I mean? But when I showed that yesterday, according to an older gospel, because Konaf asked that. You know what I mean? In all sincerity, it was a good question. But after his resurrection, guess what? According to the oldest record, it wasn't fish that he ate after he resurrected. You know what I mean? It was, again, some dried fruits, it was some bread, and it was some herbs. And he said, that'll suffice, let's eat. You see what I'm saying? So what I think it is people mad, you know what I mean? And they're rushing to lick, you know what I mean, their so-called chops, as if we rushed outside with this and didn't consider the matter and didn't study it. No, we studied it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, only thing it comes down to, y'all, is are you going to receive the answer? You may not like the answer. That's understandable, but are you going to receive it? That's all it comes down to. And we can't force you to receive that. But there is an answer to the question you had. Well, if you talking about flesh eating being so bad, then why did the Messiah feed them bread and fish in the desert? Why did the Messiah eat fish after he resurrected? Okay, that's a good question. Then we go show that according to something that's older than what you received is, you know what I mean, the Gospels, it wasn't that. It was something different. You know what I mean? At that point, it's up to you to receive that. All right? So it's all good, man. All praise and glory now to the Most High. All right. The next one was about, all right, the next one is about the Cain and Abel. You know what I mean? Because you got in Genesis 4 that Abel brought the sheep of his flock, and Cain brought the inferior fruits of the ground. And the Most High was pleased with Abel's sacrifice, a bloody sacrifice, right? But rejected Cain's grain offering or fruit offering. That's what we got in Genesis, the 4th chapter, right? Now, where I'm about to go next, a lot of the brothers that came up and studied with us, they read this. We about to go to the book of Adam and Eve next, all right? A lot of the brothers that read and came up with us under our school of thought, they have the book of Adam and Eve. All right, so we about to go examine out of the book of Adam and Eve. You know what I mean? And y'all, if it conflicts, it just conflict. All you can do is decide what side you on. All you can be on some, you know what, that makes sense. Grapes in the desert and not raw fish. You know what I mean? Dang, that okay. Well, if the Most High don't like all that, like he's saying in the mouth of his prophets that he don't require burnt offerings and sacrifices, why did he accept Abel's sacrifice? That you naturally ask that. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, he's saying he don't like it, burnt offerings and sacrifices and sin offerings and all that, right? Then why did he accept Abel's sacrifice in Genesis 4? You see? Now, let's go over here. Now, look, again, we can't force you to receive it. All right? All we can do is give you the answer. And to me, it makes more sense that the Most High, that Abel didn't bring a bloody sacrifice. I mean, to somebody else, it may not make sense, but to me, it makes sense that he didn't bring a bloody sacrifice. You know what I mean? And the reason I say this is because when you get to the book of Jubilees, you know what I mean? Adam himself brought his offering was a grain offering. It was an oblation. It was not the flesh of dead animals. Well, that means his sons learned how to sacrifice and offer up to the Most High from him, Adam, correct? Why would Abel bring something opposite than what his father told him and it be respected by the Lord? Makes no sense. All right. Book of Adam and Eve, chapter 77. All right. We're going to start at verse 1. All right, y'all, let me X this. I don't know why this heathen ad is on there. Okay, there it go. All right, the book of Adam and Eve, book 1, chapter 77, verse 1. How many of y'all knew this was in here? Go ahead, one of y'all read that for me.
I got it, bro.
Okay.
It say, but when Adam saw that the older brother hated the younger, he endeavored to soften their heart and said to Cain, O my son, take of the fruits of your sowing and make an offering to the Most High, so that he might forgive you for your wickedness and sin.
Trip off this, right? So Adam see it, and he didn't say go kill some flesh. What did he tell Cain to do? Take of the fruit of your sowing. Sowing means planting, y'all. Take of your crops and make an offering. You know what I mean? To the Most High, that he might forgive you for your wickedness and sins. A grain offering, basically. Right? Verse 2.
Verse 2. He said also to Abel, take some of your sowing and make an offering and bring it to the Most High, so that he might forgive you for your wickedness and sin.
Verse 3.
Then Abel obeyed his father's voice, took some of his sowings and made a good offering, and said to his father, Adam, come with me and show me how to offer it up.
Mm-hmm.
And they went, Adam and Eve with him, and they showed him how to offer up his gifts on the altar. Then, after that, they stood up and prayed that the Most High would accept Abel's offering.
Now, this is a grain offering, y'all. Sowing means planting, meaning seed has been dropped, meaning ground has been fertilized and cultivated by your animals, your flock. Okay? Seed has been dropped in fertile ground. Crops have grown. All right? And guess what? Now Abel is asking his father, well, show me how to properly offer this to the Almighty. Notice it's not a bloody sacrifice. But we got Genesis 4, it's a bloody sacrifice, don't we? We. And I dropped this on Facebook a while back just to see if people could see it. You know what I mean? Hey, what's the difference in Genesis 4 concerning the offering of Abel and Cain and the book of Adam and Eve? Because I know a lot of our people read this. Do y'all know Nick Rose was on there trying their best to make it harmonize? And I'm like, y'all going too deep. Wait, it's about the intention of the heart. I say, I'm not even asking about all that. I'm asking, is what Cain and Abel offered in Genesis 4 the same as what they offered in the book of Adam and Eve? That's what I'm asking. And y'all, our people have been so indoctrinated, they actually was trying to make this fit. In Genesis 4, Abel offers a bloody sacrifice. Cain offers grain. The Most High accepts Abel's bloody sacrifice and rejects Cain. Grain sacrifice. In the book of Adam and Eve, Abel offers a grain sacrifice, something that he planted and grew. Cain is about to offer something bloody. The Most High accepts Abel's sacrifice and rejects Cain. And I put that side by side on Facebook just to see if people could receive this. Do y'all know almost everybody fought tooth and nail? Man, it's something I'm missing. It's right there. I know you, Malaki. I said, bro, I'm asking a simple question. Is it the same or is it different? And if it's different, just be real with yourself. It's different. It don't match. How could you ever be about truth if you can't be truthful with yourself? Verse 5, what did it say, Hebrew?
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Most High looked at Abel and accepted his offering. And the Most High was more pleased with Abel than with his offering, because of his good heart and pure body. There was no trace of guile in him.
Absolute. Go ahead.
Then they came down from the altar and went to the cave in which they lived. But Abel, by reason of his joy at having made his offering, repeated it 3 times a week after the example of his father Adam.
Right. Go ahead.
But as to Cain, he did not want to make an offering. But after his father became very angry, he offered up a gift once. He took the smallest of his sheep for an offering, and when he offered it up, his eyes was on the lamb.
Yeah, I heard this. You see this? He took the smallest of his sheep. Cain actually is the one that came with the bloody offering. It was not Abel. We go ahead.
Verse 8. Therefore, the Most High did not accept his offering because his heart was full of murderous thoughts.
His heart was full of murderous thoughts. By slaying a lamb, he learned to slay his brother.
Learn behavior.
By slaying a lamb, he learned to slay his brother. Nehemiah, I'm going to need you to grab Isaiah 66:3 after we finish this. All right? Full of murderous thoughts. All right, go ahead.
Verse 9. And they all thus lived together in the cave in which Eve had brought forth until Cain was 15 years old and Abel 12 years old.
Oh, wait. All right, that's it for that. That's it for that. All right, let's get on back to this. You know what I mean? I wanted to answer that because the brother was saying that, well, you know, according to this, you know, Abel was the one that brought the bloody sacrifice and it was accepted. Actually, it was opposite. And the proof it was opposite, if you get into Jubilees and you'll see that Adam, who taught his sons how to properly offer to the Most High, his offering was a grain offering as well. It was not a bloody sacrifice. And now that makes sense when King David is saying sacrifices and offerings and burnt offerings and offerings for sin. The Most High don't desire them, nor do he require them. You know what I mean?
Psalm chapter 40.
Yep. If you can, let's get Isaiah 66 real quick. Isaiah 66, 1-3. Hallelujah. I'm going to pull it up. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, it make all the sense in the world to me, Jedediah. Hey, Rock, you got anything you want to add real quick?
Yes.
Just listen. Yeah, man, look. It makes sense because where were murderous thoughts? It took you in your mind, right, to go and kill an animal. When they study the psychology of a serial killer, what's usually laying in the psychoanalysis of that serial killer?
Some type of horrific experience.
Exactly. And what he doing? He's usually killing animals.
Yeah.
Most psycho killers have a history of killing animals. You ever tripped off of that?
Yeah, they do like squirrels and rabbits.
Yeah, most of your serial killers are most of your psycho killers are those who used to kill animals. That's where they start their training from. They murderous thoughts come from killing the animals.
Yeah.
Right? Or they kill their pets, or they abuse their pets. You see what I'm saying? They beat their dogs, or they strangle their cats, or any of those natures. So it makes sense for him to have murderous thoughts because he had to think to himself, I'm gonna go kill this lamb. And then not only that, he didn't give the Most High the best of it. He gave him the smallest of it. So I mean, he probably went to go kill a little baby goat or a baby sheep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was learned behavior. You had to learn it. You had to learn it from somewhere.
Exactly. So by laying that blood, listen, you killed God's creation, which according to the account was made before Adam. Adam was made on the 6th day. You see what I'm saying? So you went and killed God's creation to bring it to him and say, take it. And take the little one's one. And wonder why it wasn't accepted.
Exactly. Okay, Isaiah 66 to answer this. You know what I mean? We see Cain took a lamb or a sheep or whatever, you know what I mean, and laid it down with murderous thoughts, y'all. And true about this, y'all. And through that, that's how he learned to kill his brother. You know what I mean? So, hey, that's just what it is, man. But I wanted to make sure we answered what I didn't get a chance to totally address yesterday. You dig? But it was all good, man. I felt good going in and finishing and doing that deal. You know what I mean? Like I felt good behind it. Like, you know what I mean? Once I offered up some prayers and just jumped right in, like, look, let's get it. You dig? Let's get it. And again, you know what I mean? Your belief in truth is only based off your level to receive it. A lot of people can't receive certain levels of truth. You know what I mean? It tell you that in the Gospel of the Holy 12. It's a chapter called "What Is the Truth?" And the Messiah himself says, Yahshua himself says that the truth, the Most High has established the truth as a ladder with many steps for the salvation and the perfection of your soul. Truths that you receive today will be abandoned tomorrow for higher truths. Push on toward perfection. Push on toward perfection. You know what I mean? So the man at the top of the mountain has a different vantage point than the man in the valley. So we can't be mad at the brothers and sisters that's deciding to try to come against us and talk crazy, whatever. Let them talk. You know what I mean? What we ain't going to do is stop, though. What we ain't going to do is stop. You dig? Y'all, it's a storm coming. And look, we got plenty, you know what I mean, of ammo. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? So let's get her done. Hey, that's what's up, Shannon Butcher. Keep it respectful. You can stay around. If not, kick rocks. It's that simple. You know what I mean? If you want to chew on the flesh of dead animals, hey, that's all on you. Huh? We gonna challenge our people to put down what's poison in them. Flip that light on for me. Put down the flesh, put down the strong drink and the smoke. It's time to live. If that resonates with your spirit, that's what's up. If not, you can easily, go look at poor little Tink Tink. You know what I mean? Or anybody else that agrees with your bloodlust to chew on the flesh of dead animals. Keep everything respectful and you can sit around. If not, you already know what we're going to do. All right, Isaiah 66, verse 3-4. Let's get it done, brother.
All right. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 3.
Yeah.
And this is a good one for you, Shannon. He that killeth an ox is as he who slew a man.
Is as if he slew a man. You understand? Slaying a man is murder. He's saying you killing a bullock or an ox. You understand? It's the same as murder. And look, we've been so desensitized, y'all. We don't even look at our fellow creatures as, we don't even look at them as innocent. You feel you got the right just to kill them just because. And today is all based off your taste bud. This thing bigger than your taste buds. This thing bigger than your taste buds.
You lust for blood.
You're chewing on the dead flesh of animals. And Israel still wonder why they're sick. You understand? Because you got to get back to Genesis 1:29. We see people healed from diabetes, healed breast cancer, healed prostate cancer, healed herpes, healed HIV, all by going back to Genesis 1:29. See, what I'm saying, y'all, is we're a healing ministry. We know who's sick and we got the testimonials. So anybody that's not a healer ain't even qualified to speak against us. You not no healer. The man with the experience is not at liberty to the man with the theory. All these mealy mouth Negroes coming against us, y'all. All you gotta ask them is, hey, where y'all testimonials at concerning the people that's been healed that came to your assembly, whether through prayer of the word or using herbs? Where your testimonials at? We know it's healing our people, prescribing to the eternal dietary law found in Genesis 1:29. We know it's healing our people. Period, point blank in the story. So anybody just putting their mouth against us as if we're lying, you understand? All y'all do is ask them, who y'all done healed? And look, any healing comes by way of the Most High. Any healing comes by way of the Most High. It don't come by us. All right? So we're going to give praise, glory, and honor to him. All right? All right, let's get her done, Hebrew.
And then look, bro, you sitting there trying to post, but it's funny. You ain't post Genesis 9, right? Where he told you that every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. So look, bro, look. What you're doing is showing conflict. You don't even know what you're doing. That's exactly what you actually helping our argument for the people who actually sat here and been listening.
Yeah.
Because do me a favor, Shannon. Post Genesis 9 and 3. And I want to see you walk outside and grab your kitty cat and go chew his neck off.
Bro, what about this? What we reading right now proves it's conflict with what he just posted.
Exactly.
That right there just said he that killed an ox as if he slew a man. So we got the prophet, we got the Most High speaking through the mouth of Isaiah the prophet saying he ain't down with the killing of the animals for the chewing on of the flesh pots. Then you got scriptures that say it's acceptable. All you can do is decide what side you own, Shannon. That's it. All right, let's finish this though, man. Let's not even worry about whatever somebody talking about. Let's do this. Isaiah 66, 3 and 4.
All right, let me get back to the Bible I had open. All right, here we go. Verse 3 again. He that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man. And he that sacrifices a lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck.
Oh, wait. Good Lord. It's murder, huh? Murder, huh?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And he that offereth an oblation, or sometimes it means grain, as if he offered swine's blood. And he that burneth incense, as if he blessed an idol. Yeah, they have chosen their own ways.
They have what?
Chosen their own ways.
Oh, we go ahead.
And their soul delighteth in their abomination.
Man, Isaiah, the Most High saying through the mouth of Isaiah, that's abomination. He's saying the sacrificing of lambs and the killing of bullocks is abomination. And that's your way. That's your way. That ain't the Most High's way. You have chosen they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations. What's the abomination, Hebrews? Oh, y'all know we go into it later, huh?
Yeah.
What's the abomination? I thought you can kill an ox and offer it on the altar of the Most High. I thought you could sacrifice lambs. What's the abomination? Because according to this, that's man's way. It ain't the Most High's way. Houston, we got a problem. No. Verse 4. Go ahead.
I also will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them. Because when I called, none did answer. And when I spake, they did not hear. But they did evil before my eyes.
Wow.
And choose that in which I delighted not.
There it is right there. Y'all see that? Most High don't delight in that. He don't delight in sacrificing animals. He don't delight in that, sacrificing lambs and offering bullocks. He just called it an abomination and said, you doing that is murder. And he said what, y'all? Didn't we just read? That's man's way. It ain't the Most High's way. So now you got to ask yourself this. Why do we got laws concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices? Why do we got stories of lambs being slaughtered? It's conflict.
Perfect question, man. Look, what did the prophet say to get them killed? And what did the Messiah say to get him killed?
Ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee. Hey, keep that question in mind. We going there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we did that. We did the Adam and Eve. We showed the fish.
Paul.
Huh?
You ain't want to do the Paul?
What,
Script?
what about the bishop and all that?
That too.
What you was talking about?
No, I'm saying no, that too. The bishop issue, which was not in 1 Corinthians 12:28, as he said.
Right.
Right. Anybody want to know that, man? You make that an easy one. This ain't even got to be a barn and burner. You know, he tried to make a statement that bishops are not over the apostles, right? As if Timothy pulled something out of his butt, and then he went to 1 Corinthians 12.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And verse 28, and it did not say the word bishop in there at all. At all.
That's right. Bishop wasn't even in there. You know what I mean? Bishop wasn't even in there. And what I was showing was the fact, you know what I mean, that James actually, the brother of Messiah, was actually the authority, you know what I mean, of the new covenant after the Messiah resurrected and ascended. The proof is Acts 15. He went to Acts 15 and did this. He went to Acts 15 and went earlier in the verse and showed that Peter was the first one to stand up and speak. He did. But what he didn't show y'all was in Acts 15, verse 13 through 20, James is the one giving the judgment. Anybody that gives a judgment is someone that has the right to judge. That's an authority. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was real easy to address. Also, when Peter got out of prison, you know what I mean, he was told to go report to James. James was the bishop. He was the authority over the renewed covenant after Messiah resurrected and he sent. That's the truth. You understand? The 12 apostles shall sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Paul is not in there. All right. So I told him, I say, whatever Paul say, just like with any man, you got to take with a grain of salt. If he's speaking the word of the Most High, salute. If not, he just speaking as a man. Like any man, he's speaking as a man. You know what I mean? For example, when he said, him that eateth herbs is weak, meaning weak in the faith. But that would make Adam weak in the faith. And that would make the Most High weak who ordained for Adam to eat the herbs. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. Then it went to 1 Timothy 4. We're talking about in the last days, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, commanding to abstain from meats and also abstaining from marriage. And the brother's like, so is Paul lying? Speaking on the spirit? That ain't what that's about. If y'all don't know, Paul was at war with brothers who never ate flesh in their entire life. The brothers he was specifically at war with were the apostles that the Messiah ordained. You understand? All you got to do is get into some early history and you'll see, oh, these brothers never ate flesh. This is who Paul talking about. Because when he went to Jerusalem, James gave a judgment and say, when you out there teaching among the Gentiles, command them Gentiles to stay away from things strangled. What is something strangled? That's flesh, y'all. Stay away from blood. Okay. Stay away from fornication and abstain from pollution of idols. Out of all that, Paul only got the fornication right. You know what I mean? Because at times he talks about the liberty to eat meat in an idolatrous temple. And as long as they don't tell you that the meat is offered to an idol, that don't make sense. You in a temple of an idol. What you mean as long as they don't tell you it's offered to an idol? Then you can eat. But be aware. Because there may be a brother who see you who have the knowledge of Messiah sit in the temple of an idol and eat that which is offered to an idol, and that, guess what? His conscience may be seared, and that brother may be emboldened to eat things which are sacrificed to idols because he see you with the knowledge sitting in the idolatrous temple. Y'all, none of it makes sense. If you are commanded to teach, abstain from pollutions of idols, all you got to say is, hey, get away, get out of these idolatrous temples and eating food sacrificed to idols. You wouldn't be coming up with a false sense of liberty. A false sense that, well, you know, see, if you that have liberty Nigga, you ain't got no liberty to be entertaining no idols. What you mean? And so then he calls the one that eats it as if it is sacrificed to an idol. He said, well, that man's conscience is weak. He also called the brothers who eat herbs, their conscience is weak. Paul is putting the brothers that eat food sacrificed to idols and the brothers that subscribe to Genesis 1:29 in the same boat, in the same category. He called both of them weak. So I guess somebody that's strong is somebody who eats the flesh that's offered to an idol and he don't know it's offered to an idol. That's the strong brother. Come on, man. None of that makes sense. And when you get into it, you'll start seeing Paul start doing his own thing. He didn't want to come up under the authority of the apostles that Messiah left in charge. He started doing his own thing. As you keep reading, it goes from Christ's gospel to my gospel. And if anybody teach any other gospel than what I tell you to teach, count them cursed. James fire right back at him. James say blessings and curses ain't supposed to come out the same mouth. Paul said, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not doing, and what I'm not doing, I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, wretched man that I am. James fire right back at him. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Paul get this boasting, I magnify mine office. James fire right back at him. That man's religion is vain if he can't bridle his tongue. Pure religion is this. All you gotta do, y'all, is open up the book of Galatians and open up the book of James. Y'all, look, it's a conflict. It's a war between the established leadership under the Messiah, the apostles in Jerusalem, and Paul. Specifically, James, the brother of the Messiah. And Paul naming it. Certain men sent from James. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to go there and show that because the one bro at the end was, he actually said, true about this, y'all. He actually said that Paul understood Yahshua better than the 12 appointed apostles. That's when I blew. No, I can't let you get away with that. I can't let you get away with that. Boy, you sound like a straight heathen talking like that.
He sure said that. Anybody who was in the chat last night who heard that, man, give a 7. Let me be the first. Give my 7.
Yeah, no, I can't let you get away with that, player. I cannot let you get away with that. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I'm just saying, he had said that, and Rock, this is what he said, bro. He said that Paul had further and more better understanding than any disciple that followed Christ. The 12 that received the cloven tongues and the straight manifestation of the Holy Spirit can't match Paul.
I'm like, wow, bro.
The same man is the same man who don't believe in keeping the feast. The laws of the when he runs with Paul, they get tore up. Don't believe in keeping the feast. Don't believe in keeping the Shabbat. And Paul is more masterful than the men who walked with Christ and had the gift of the Holy Spirit to teach all nations of all renowned men that came from all under heaven to hear the glorious news and gospel of Mashiach. No, you missed it. He elevated Paul above the actual men who received the Holy Spirit from Messiah and was given the tongue to speak first to every renowned man under heaven who was coming to keep the feast. In Acts 2.
This guy said he don't keep the feast, right?
This guy said he don't keep it.
But I said Paul keep the feast.
Yeah, but Paul kept the feast.
But then you saying Paul is, so you not following even Paul?
He don't even follow Paul like you say he do. That's what Rock saying.
Nah.
You don't even follow Paul like he say he do.
Utter madness.
Paul kept the feast.
But that's why I say I gotta stop you now, player.
Hey man,
I can't let you do this. I can't let you get away with that. I can't let you get away with that. You know what I mean? You talking about men who knew Messiah before he was crucified and after. You talking about men he blew the Ruach HaKodesh on. You talking about men? He talked about the kingdom of heaven before he died and after. Men who had the cloven tongues of fire sitting upon them. And you gonna tell me Paul had a greater understanding of Messiah than them? I said, nah, you sound like a straight heathen. That's, hey, look, the woman that founded the Seventh-day Adventist movement, look her up, Ellen G. White. She teach that. That's a heathen doctrine.
That boy was an evangelical last night. And his thing said born again Israelite. Oh man. Oh man.
Oh, real talk. All right. And we gonna get to that my brother, hallelujah, Shekinah. You know what I mean? We're gonna get to that by the time we get done. All right. So we addressed that without even having to go there, because the scripture he went to had nothing. Look, for one, the scripture he went to, but trip out this, y'all, it's Paul's movement anyway. It's Paul setting up his order in his churches, because he didn't come up under the order of the apostles that the Messiah ordained. Okay, so even if he did go there and it showed bishop on down the line, it still wouldn't mean nothing, because, you know what I mean, if Paul didn't obey the order of who Christ set up, then he was doing his own thing anyway. But where he went didn't say bishop anyway. You know what I mean? So, all right, so we done with that. All right, Nehemiah, you brought something out earlier today. Y'all want to go there now?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be perfect time. That put about 2.5 hours or so.
Yeah, let's go there real quick. And then I got the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles that backs up. Remember, we went there earlier. That backs up. Brought out. You know what I mean? And then we're going to end it with Gospel of the Holy 12, chapter 21, about the Messiah's warning about these sacrifices and bloody feasts. And that'll answer you, hallelujah, Shekinah. All right, so let's get this. Where we going? Daniel 9.
Daniel 9.
All right, Daniel 9. And y'all, again, this was a recap based off the actual interview. I was interviewed last night, and like I told the brother, I said, "Yeah, come on, you know what I mean? We ain't ducking nothing, brother. It's all good." And I did not. It was not scripted. I didn't know what they was gonna ask. You know what I mean? I give all praise, glory, and honor to the Almighty. You know what I mean? If y'all missed it, I would suggest y'all go check it out. And I'll be handled up Nazarene style. Israelite by blood, Nazarene by faith. You know what I mean? Yeah, we just handled up how the Most High put on our spirit to handle up. And a lot of people been reaching out saying thank you. You know what I mean? And my response to that is, look, it's all praises to the Most High God. We don't take any praise. We don't take any credit. You know, and one thing about myself is this, y'all. When I see something and I'm convicted about it, I don't know no other way to go but hard at it. That's it. Only way I know to go is hard. So, you know what I mean? For anybody that may be offended or whatever, hey, that's just me. That's the way I got to come off. All right. All right, let's get her done.
All right, so look.
Yeah, Messiah had no need to repent. You know what I mean? We focus on the Messiah as well. Lamb's Book of Life. Is you talking about when he resurrected and ate fish? Is that what you talking about? If so, let us know, and then we'll go and show. We'll re-answer what we re-answered last night. Or you can just go look at the interview. It's on this channel now. Go to the video before this one and look at the interview from last night. All right. Let's get her done, Hebrew. We in Daniel 9.
Actually, we just answered it again today about the cluster and all that.
Yeah, Lamb's Book of Life. You kind of late to the party.
It's in this one and last night.
Yeah, it's in this one and the one last night. All right, let's get her done. While he was in the sea, what you talking about? Walking on the sea? I don't know. You gotta be more clear. All right, Hebrew. Daniel 9 and 25. Let's get her done.
All right, y'all. So look. All the day I was sending out different scriptures, right? You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to Uriel earlier, and we was talking about Daniel. And then while I was at lunch, I started reading it. And I just kept reading it. I said, man, okay. I say, okay. So we dealing with the prophecy of Daniel, the desolation, the abomination, desolation, right? Because everybody, you know, in the Hebrew community, where you non-messianic or messianic, know about Daniel chapter 9, right? So a lot of us look at this as a messianic expectation as well, to point to what happened with the Messiah being cut off and everything. So we also know the Messiah talks about it in Matthew 24 as well, right? Hold on, Lamb's Book of Life. Listen, we want to make sure everybody getting what we finna get ready to bring out. And then Malaki said he'll go back and entertain that situation that you're asking about. So everybody hold on for a minute. There's, you know, give me a 7 if we are already on this Daniel chapter 9, verse 7. Daniel chapter 9, verse 7. Give me a 7 if you already see what we got going on this. This, you know, sometimes I be getting those moments.
Come on with it, Doc. Let's get it.
All right, so go ahead and read that first one right there, that first verse, 25. All right. So verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from going forth of the commandment, right? So that's from the very beginning, from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto Messiah the Prince shall be 70 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even the troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
Be what?
Be cut off.
So we all know Messiah was cut off during his crucifixion. Messiah was cut off during his crucifixion. All right. This is a 70-week prophecy. It's not a literal 70 weeks. It's a time span of over 490 years from us coming out of Babylon to the crucifixion of the Messiah, all the way down to the overthrowing of Jerusalem. All right, which is close to 500 years. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
And it also lines up close to the very time of the Ark of the Covenant being taken out by Jeremiah.
Right.
All right. So, and shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself,
right?
The people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and sanctuary.
Hold on right there. Hold on. And the people of the prince, after the Messiah was crucified, what people came and destroyed what city and what temple? Say it again. After the Messiah was cut off, according to what we read, what people destroyed what city and what sanctuary was destroyed?
Hey, that's a fair question right there.
See if y'all been paying attention. The Messiah crucified. One more time. The Messiah was cut off. After he was cut off, what people, biblically and historically, are on record destroying what city,
what people though,
and what sanctuary? Sanctuaries is in the temple. That's right, the Romans.
Bam. There you go.
The Messiah was crucified, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city. Jerusalem is the city, and the sanctuary. The sanctuary is the temple that was standing. Didn't the Messiah say, "Not one stone shall be standing; it shall be thrown down"? Did he say that? Trip off this. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city. The Romans eventually overthrew Jerusalem and the sanctuary or the temple. And the end thereof shall be with a flood. Ooh. Not a literal flood, y'all. It was flooded out by Roman troops.
That's right.
And unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. Y'all, we still in that war because we still in that fourth beast. Verse 27.
Ooh-wee.
Verse 27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And
So
in
what's
the
the covenant?
midst, and
What's
in
the covenant?
you
The
said what,
covenant
bro?
written on 2 tablets of stone, placed inside the ark. He shall renew it. Right? Even we dealing with Jeremiah 31, and we dealing with the whole book of Hebrews. Listen, he shall renew the covenant. Right? And we even know that he's coming back for the millennial reign. Right? Even you look at that part. There's still 1 week. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
And he shall confirm the covenant or the eternal Torah with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, trip off this, y'all. A week is 7 days.
That's
so
right.
What's half a week?
3.5.
3.5 days. All right. How many years did the Messiah teach?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. This week is prophetic. Each day is a year. 1 week equals 7 years. Midweek equals 3.5 years. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to stop, to cease.
Wait a minute. So you telling me when he got cut off that the sacrifice and oblations which were brought to the priest are now ceased?
That's right. That's right. Look, meaning his death represented the end of temple worship, Levitical priesthoods, animal sacrifice, and chewing on the flesh of dead animals. That's what his death. That's what his death represented.
Because
that's why the veil. That's why the veil in the temple ripped as soon as he gave up the spirit.
So he opened up access to the Most High. He took away the priesthood from those who were full of sin and blood, right? And he brought and reissued in the order of what? Melchizedek.
That's right. That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Read the next few words very slowly now.
He shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations.
Stop. Read that one more time. For the what?
And for the overspreading of abominations.
What was the overspreading of abominations that was going on in the sanctuary that was being given to the priest as sacrifices and that needed to be stopped? The same thing that Isaiah told you, same thing Jeremiah told you, same thing Messiah told you in Matthew 12, 6-7, same thing that David told you, same thing that God told you from the beginning, same thing we just read in the book called The Gospel of the Nazarene. What? What was overspread of abominations? Keep thinking. Read that last part.
Think about it, y'all. We talking about the temple. We talking about the city being destroyed, the sanctuary being destroyed. We talking about sacrifices that go down the temple.
Hey, check this out, right?
Stopping. And then right when he said that, he goes into the overspreading of abominations. What was abominable? What was happening in Christ's time, in the Messiah's time?
Bring it out.
In the temple. What was happening that was considered abomination?
May I?
Please do, brother.
So good. I want y'all to think. This is why you can't be indoctrinated, right? During the time of Christ, you had Sanhedrin, we had our authority, we had temple guards, we had our power, we had the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the scribes, we had our priesthood in place. We was a power under a dominating power, but we still had power. Because why? We could have judged, handled, and murdered Messiah, but we tried to take him to who? Pontius Pilate, right? But Pontius Pilate said, y'all handle that. I don't see nothing wrong with this man, right? So you had power. You can't say that the overspread of abomination was hidden. Because this wasn't during the Maccabean time.
That's right.
When they was bringing in cake to the king, and Jupiter was in there. Because in the time of Christ, the priest had full power. They controlled the full offering, the showbread. They controlled everything that was going on in that temple. And you can't play like hog was being put on the temple in the time of Christ. Let me finish. You can't even say that idols was in the temple during the time of Christ, because Christ went into the temple every Shabbat to teach on the Shabbat. So what was the spread or overspread of abomination that was going on in the temple, that he shall make it desolate, even until the consumption, which is eating or burned by fire, but consumed. Wait a minute, I'm gonna read it slowly again. He was cut off midweek. And we know, according to time, because we can trace back time easily to the 1st century, Christ died on a Wednesday, right? We even got the hour when you read the book of John. We know the hour and day he died, right? He did Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday. 3-4 days in the heart of the earth, day and night. And when you read the account, he rose as it dawned toward the first day of the week, which is Sunday. So what was going on in the temple? Because mind you, the time of Passover. So we got lambs going on. We got everything getting ready, ritualistic. Woohoo! Blood being poured all over the place. Lambs being cooked all over the place. Ain't no pigs. You can't run that one. And wasn't no idol worship going on during the time in the temple of Israel. You can't run that no more. That's what you try to run in these other books. When you try to read Isaiah, you try to read the abomination that was going down was the killing of those animals, and the blood spread all over them altars. That's why God had removed the ark out of Israel's hand 500 years before Christ touched down, which fits your 70-week prophecy. He took the ark of the covenant out of play. He didn't want you sprinkling blood on his mercy seat. So check this out. What abomination? If you can't say lawful meat and sacrifice, then you lied to yourself. Because that's the only thing that was going on in the temple in the time of Christ was lawful meats and lawful sacrifices.
And plenty of blood.
And no idolatry.
And right. And exactly. So what NehemiYAH is saying is beyond powerful. Because you got during the time of the Maccabees where it was swine blood and it was idolatrous images of Jupiter in the temple. In the Messiah's time, that was not the case. The altar had been rededicated. You understand? And even though the Romans was ruling, you understand? There was no images of idols in the temple, and there was no pigs being slain in the temple. So what do you have left to decree it as an abomination going on in the temple? And I remind you, we just read, and he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. What overspread of what abominations? If you can't say idolatry and you can't say swine blood, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you with something. Just like the Most High was speaking through the mouth of Isaiah, he asked the priest, "Who has required you to tread my courts with this?
Hey,
Who has required you to tread my courts with this blood on your hands?" In the Psalms, the Most High say, "If I was hungry, I wouldn't tell you." Jeremiah chapter 7, the Most High speaks to the prophet Jeremiah, who was a Levite. "I didn't speak, nor did I command your fathers in the day they left Egypt concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices." Messiah said, if you knew what this meant, I would have mercy and not sacrifice, you wouldn't have condemned the innocent. Who are the innocent that you have been slaying? Answer that, and you got your answer to the overspreading of abominations. He shall make it desolate, even to the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
Go ahead.
That pissed the Most High so much. And listen, he been trying to tell y'all the whole time. He said, prophet killed, prophet killed, prophet killed, Messiah killed. The question was asked earlier, I think it was by Tazadiq. He said, what was the prophets saying or doing, and what was Messiah saying or doing that was getting them killed? Christ was murdered, y'all. When you get done with it, Christ was murdered.
That's right. Y'all need to
What
stop
was going on?
the Sanhedrin.
You can't claim his blood, you can't claim idol worship during the time of Rome with Christ. You can't play that game no more. What was the abomination that caused desolation? To the fact, even the consumption.
Exactly.
And you know it had to be that because Christ told you not one stone gonna stand in this deal. You hear me? And to this day, like he did with Egypt, like he did with Sodom and Gomorrah, when God lay an end to something, he lays it to dust. Sodom and Gomorrah, dust buckets. Egypt, dust. You know what I'm talking about? And what do you have with the temple of Israel? Dust. You have not offered a sacrifice or an abomination. And he told you, once you get up out of here, the land will enjoy its Sabbaths again. And ask yourself, why when you sit here and look at the end time and you wait for the devil to come on in and you wait for all them to rebuild the third temple, why is that such important? Because when that third temple come back in place, guess what you're going to do again that was just destroyed by HaMashiach? You're going to bring blood sacrifices in again. You're going to go kill the red heifer. They already preparing it. You're going to restart the very thing that Christ told you, that the prophet Daniel told you, that all the other people. We don't want that. God don't want that. And you bring the third temple and they kill the red heifer, they're going to bring back blood on the altar again. Then you'll know. See, I didn't trip off that part about the Antichrist. Everybody cool with the Antichrist. And the third temple got to be built. And they're going to do the red heifer. Why is that an issue? One, because the blood sacrifice is going to be reinstated in the holy city again, along with the wicked one who you've been worshiping the whole time with them blood sacrifices.
Well, wait. This right here is the backup what we just read in Daniel the 9th chapter. For any naysayer, this is out the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, or the recognitions of Clement. These are Peter's writings, first century documentation, written during the time of Peter's life, before he was executed. All right? Some of us actually have the actual book. You know what I mean? All right? This is the journal of Peter's preaching after the Messiah. And what he taught was what the Messiah taught him. All right, so we're going to go over the book 1, chapter 36 and 37. Oh, I get rid of this sidebar right there. So that's in my way, Nehemiah. You know what I mean? Let me see. So I don't even know how to do it. I ain't gonna mess with it. Let me know if y'all can see that. I'm gonna blow it up some more. All right, so now we're about to go into the allowance of Zebah, or sacrifice for a time. And then chapter 37 is the set apart place, which is the holy temple. This is going to back up what my brother Nehemiah just said. This is going to back up everything that he just said. And trip off this, y'all. Majority of these mealy mouth Negroes are mad because, look, they are mad over a priesthood that's dead and over sacrifices that they not even doing. None of them doing these sacrifices. What are you standing up for these bloody sacrifices for? There ain't a Negro on planet Earth involved in the Levitical sacrifices that went on in the so-called Bible. Nobody is.
They got blood in their mouth, bro. They done tasted that blood and lost their mind. And when you look at how those animals are slaughtered in those videos that we've been doing and showing, and you can't tell me that's the love of God in them slaughterhouses. And that was the love of God in his creation for his animals that he created before you, that he loved enough to have you name it. Whatever you named them, that's what it was. That was his intentions for his creation.
That's right.
Especially when he gave you herbs and plants and everything else to eat, according to Genesis 1:29. That couldn't have been his plan.
Trip about this. Let's get her done. I start reading this right here. Messiah was murdered and executed because he disrupted a $1.5 billion industry called the temple. It was a slaughterhouse. He attacked the temple. That right there, even according to the records of his enemies, is what got him marked. John chapter 2, he makes a bullwhip. He pours out the bankers' money, flips open the tables, and guess what he did? He set the animals free who were about to be sold for sacrifice. And then he said, make not my father's house a house of merchandise. All right, let's go into this. If all the prophets, if even King David, they all saying the Most High don't desire nor require burnt offerings and sacrifices. Trip off this, y'all. If you're not killing these innocent animals, guess what else you're not doing?
You're not eating.
You're not chewing on them. That's why we coming so hard against the sacrifices and all that. And make no mistake about it, all that blood being spilled in all these slaughterhouses in this world, you better believe those are sacrifices. That blood is being offered to some deity. You got to stop thinking, oh, it's just heathen spilling blood. No. That's just heathen. 27 billion animals in the United States alone since January 1st. Over 8 billion chickens alone in the United States since January 1st.
Did we do the math earlier?
Yeah, about 20 chickens a day for you Negroes.
So look, this is what we did earlier, y'all.
Come on, let's read. Let's read this, and then we'll do the math.
All right, hallelujah. Go ahead, Jedediah.
All right. It's like in the meantime, Moshe, the faithful and wise steward, perceived that the vice of Zebahim to idols have been deeply ingrained into the people from their association with the Mitzrayim, and that the root of
y'all. Mitzrayim is Egypt. You know what I mean? Zebahim is sacrifices. Just to let everybody know, knows what he called it. The vice of sacrificing to idols was deeply ingrained in our people in Egypt. You get all this blood sacrificing from your enemies. This ain't of the Most High. That's why all the prophets kept coming against it. All right. And what it say? And that the root
of this evil could not be extracted from them. He allowed them Zebahim, but permitted it to be done only to Yahweh.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
Cut off.
Stop right there. Notice what he said. He said he called the sacrifices evil. He said that the root of this evil could not be extracted from our people. Moses is the one who allowed the sacrifices, but permitted it to be done only to the Most High. What else to say, Hebrew?
Hey, may I interject one quick small second?
Go ahead.
And let's not act like this is not an attribute of Moshe. Example, real quick. Remember, we went to Matthew 19, dealing with divorce. They asked him about it. He told them, from the beginning, it was not so. So how did you get how you get Deuteronomy 24, right? And Christ answered, because the hardness of hearts, Moses suffered you, not me, not the Most High. Moses suffered you to write your wife a bill of divorce and put her out of your house. But from the beginning, it was not so.
That's right.
This is an attribute or a common thing with Moses. Yeah. Don't be mad at me. You be mad at Messiah, because Messiah told you that in Matthew 19. Check it out, 3 through 9, and then precept that with Deuteronomy 24.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we can't act like we don't got we don't got a Torah that Moses was putting down certain laws because of the hardness of Israel's heart. Our people are rebellious, and there were things that Moses allowed to happen, but it was not of the Most High God, meaning it was not commanded by the Most High. It's a precept of man. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Yeah.
That by means. JEDADIYAH.
Oh, yeah,
You
bro.
on it?
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see.
Draft Yahweh.
Means, yeah, by any means, he might cut off one half of the deeply ingrained evil, leaving the other half to be corrected by another, and at a future time. But him, namely concerning whom he said himself, a Navi will Yahweh your Elohim raise up to you, whom you will hear, even as myself, according to all things that he will say to you. Whosoever would not hear that Navi, his spirit will be cut off from his people.
Now, right there, he just said that by means he might cut off one half of the deeply ingrained evil. Peter is calling sacrificing period evil. He's just saying Moses allowed it to be done, so he took away the idol and replaced it with the Most High, and left the vice of sacrificing to be corrected by the prophet of truth, Yahushua. All right, that's the Messiah. The Messiah's whole mission was to destroy the works of the devil. You just never considered, you know what I mean? Part of that work is the sacrifice.
That's why he destroyed the temple and prophesied about the temple.
That's right.
And the ripping of the veil and the out with that priesthood and in with Melchizedek.
That's right.
And listen, let's not act like this ain't biblical again, and we still talking about the desolation and the abomination. Did not in Macabee'S, right? When they went back into Israel, what they do with their altar? They did what? Dug it up, right? Removed it, and until the what? Prophet came to deal with it.
That's right.
So, bro, it's not act like what we reading ain't biblical on no level before you even read this document. But this is what we're talking about, puzzles. You didn't have all the pieces of the puzzle to see the picture the way we are showing it now. And now you can see it. There's a wow in her. There's a make sense in her. Without the shedding of blood, there can't be no forgiveness of sin, right? Isn't this the change of the priesthood? That's Hebrews chapter 8 all day. Now you can see it more clearly now. The evil sacrifices were evil from the beginning. How you know? Because Cain's was evil, but he has murder in his heart because he killed the lamb. In a time when death was just brought on the table because of our sin, but nobody died yet. Well, until Cain did. And right behind that murder, he murdered who? Abel.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Messiah's death ended all of this madness. All of this madness. All right. Now, again, what we reading is the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, aka the journal, the writings of Simon Peter. All right, y'all. This right here gets studied. It's called the Clementine Homilies. It gets studied in Yale. Every so-called PhD in theology know about the Clementine Homilies or the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. Us Negroes find all this stuff out late. And you got to ask yourself, why is this not in the Bible?
Because you killing business.
No way. The set-apart place means the temple. Let's show this. All right, let's get it, Hebrew.
The set-apart place. In addition to these things, he also appointed a place in which it should be lawful to them to sacrifice to Yahweh. And all this was arranged with this view. With this view that when the fitting time should come, and they should learn by means of Yahshua that Yahweh desires mercy and not sacrifice. and they might see him who should teach them that the place chosen of Yahweh in which it was suitable that victims should be offered to Yahweh.
Stop. Who are the victims that were offered to Yahweh? You know what he called them?
Victims.
Victims.
The animals, The
And
animals.
you know that's true. Matthew shows you that in Matthew 12, 6 and 7. They're the innocent. They're the blameless. The animal didn't commit no sin for you to kill him. When we all know spiritually, right, we always say, well, they died because of our sins because we should have died. Duh. Go ahead.
Straight up. Straight up. Victims. Go ahead, Hebrew.
In his HICKMAN.
HICKMAN means wisdom. In his HICKMAN or wisdom, go ahead.
In his HICKMAN, and that on the other hand, they might hear that this place, which seemed chosen for a time, often as it
often harassed as it had been by hostile invasions and plundering, right,
was at last to be wholly destroyed.
Trip off that. Trip off that. Trip off that. This chosen place, our whole history, time and time again, invaders would come in and get at the temple. And this was allowed to happen for a reason. We were supposed to look at the temple constantly being destroyed and the city constantly being destroyed and learn something from it. What were we to learn? Keep reading, Hebrew.
And in order to impress this upon them.
Oh, dang. Hold on, bro. Dang.
Yeah, I'll say, Malaki, you can kind of leave it still because it's going to end the paragraph out.
I know, but dang, that meant it went to the next, whatchamacallit? It went to the next.
It needs to be on 39.
I'm right here. I got you, brother. Dang, my bad, bro.
How's all up?
What was we at? It says, and in order to press this upon them.
Yeah, you can leave it. You can leave it right there, bro.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it say who was to reject and no, that's not it. It say hostile invasions and plundering was at least to be wholly destroyed. And in order to impress them upon them, even before the coming of Yahshua, who was to reject at once the Zabahim and the place, it was often plundered by enemies and burnt with fire. And the people carried into captivity among foreign tribes and then brought.
Often burnt with fire, and the people, us Israelites, carried into captivity among heathens. Go ahead,
among foreign tribes, and then brought back what they betook themselves to the mercy of Yahweh, that by these things they might be taught that a people who offer Zabahim are driven away and delivered up into the hands of the enemy.
Hold on, right there.
But
hold on, right there. The whole point in invaders plundering the temple, taking us into captivity. And when they're plundering the temple, guess what's also stopping? Sacrifices. We were supposed to learn by being thrown into captivity, y'all. Guess what we were supposed to learn? The main reason that we are in the captivity. The main reason that we are in captivity. Taught that a people who offer sacrifices are driven away and delivered up into the hands of the enemy. What else they say, y'all?
But they who do mercy and righteousness are without Zabayim, free from captivity.
Do y'all hear that? Go ahead, bro.
And restored to their native land.
We get restored to our native land when we understand that we who do mercy and righteousness are without sacrifices, freed from captivity. and restored to their native land.
So from what I understand, when we stop shedding the blood of the innocent, we restore back to our land.
That's right. That's right. The shedding the blood of the innocent, which also include the animals, y'all, is what brings captivity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's wild. Because we all claim we want to go home. You understand? We all claim we want the New Jerusalem. Well, what Peter was taught by the Messiah is the main reason you're in captivity is because of the sacrifices, the killing of the innocent, which leads to the chewing the flesh of the innocent. And we were supposed to learn by constantly going in and out of captivity. People without sacrifices are delivered from captivity by doing mercy and righteousness and restored to our native land. This backs right up with Daniel the 9th chapter. For the overspreading abominations, he gonna make it desolate. And he was talking about sacrifices ceasing. This lines right up with the Daniel 9 that Nehemiah was breaking down. And this is Peter's words that he was taught by HaMashiach. Sacrificing is one of the main reasons. Killing the innocent is one of the main reasons that get you thrown into captivity. You know why, y'all? Because the sacrificing is actually rooted in paganism. What gets you freed from captivity and return to your native land is mercy and righteousness. You understand? And refusing to shed innocent blood, which includes the animals. Wow. Finish it off.
And that goes back to the very first sin of that first lamb killed and the first man killed.
That's right.
If those two things happen, what you think need to unhappen?
Come on, Hebrew, let's get it.
All right, I'm going to read from where you left off at.
But it fell out.
All right, there he is.
Yeah, bro.
There he is. All right, go ahead and finish off, bro.
It's like, but it fell out that very few understood this. For the greater number, though they could perceive.
Hold on. Got you. Go ahead.
And observe these things. Yeah. And observe these things, yet were held by the irrational opinion of the vulgar.
Do you hear that? Do y'all hear that? That very few can understand what we're saying. Very few. Because they're held, their conscience is bound by the irrational opinion of the wicked or the vulgar. That's why very few can understand what we're saying. You understand? Trip out this, y'all. How you know is these brothers are fighting over a priesthood that's dead. And they're fighting over sacrifices that they're not even offering anymore. You dig? What they're partaking in are the shed blood or the dead flesh of these animals all over this earth and these new temples of Satan called slaughterhouses.
Which are ran by the Jewish imposters.
Yeah, Rabbi Finkelstein. He told you it's human meat in that as well.
Keeping you defiled.
Finish that off, Hebrew. What did it say? For the right opinion? What did it say?
Say for the right opinion with liberty is the exclusive right of a few.
Right. Okay, so let's drop that. Let's drop that real quick. I got one more for y'all, and then we're going to go ahead and shut him on down. The brother asked about the Messiah telling the leper to go offer something in the temple. According to what Moses said, offer. That's in direct conflict with Matthew 12. Nehemiah, you can read that real quick. Matthew 12, 6 and 7. And then also you can back that up with Matthew 9 and 13. All right. And also John, the 2nd chapter, about him making the bull whip and setting the animals free in the temple. And that's the thing. If you've been listening to us lately, we've been showing there's conflict in the scriptures. It don't make sense the Messiah tell a man to go offer an offering and kill an innocent animal when he's rebuking them for killing innocent animals in the temple.
And destroying the temple for it.
And destroying the temple for it. It's really that simple. You know,
Hold on. And let's hear what the Messiah say. Matthew 9:13, red letters. But go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy and not sacrifice. For I am not come to call the righteous, but the sinners to repentance. So he's called the sinners to repentance without sacrifice before his death. Before his death. But then also you see he did the healing of sacrifice. He said, go and tell them not what I've done. But in that one Luke, he came back to say thank you. A meek spirit and a contrite heart. That's it. That's it. He told them, don't even go and tell nobody what I did for y'all. Right? Read it again, Matthew 9:13. But go ye and learn what that meant. That I will have mercy and not sacrifice.
Right.
For I am come not to call the righteous, but the sinner to repentance.
So understand with mercy. True about this. So mercy, you understand, means you're not killing. I will have mercy and not sacrifice. Now to break it all the way down, need Matthew 12:6 and 7.
Yep.
What to say, y'all?
You know. Hey, bro. Christ Hulk smashed it with this boy. What he said with this, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, if you ever heard Christ like Hulk smash something, he Hulk smashed this verse.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. But I say, hold on, I'm going to show you this red letter. Red letter. But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple.
So we talk about the temple, right? Right? And we talk about the temple, right? All right. Yasmin, we went over that. We went over the conflict in that earlier. Yasmin B about Abel bringing a bloody sacrifice. You know what I mean? Just go back and watch the video after it repost, and we answered that as well. You know what I mean? And look, we can get deep on an academic level, or we can just stay where we at in these waters right here and just deal. But we already answered that about Cain and Abel's sacrifice. So when this video reposts, go back and watch it. It'll blow your mind. All right. So right here, we're talking about the temple, right? Go ahead, Op.
He said, boy, that in this place is one greater than the temple.
Straight up. Go ahead.
But if ye had known what this meant, I will have mercy.
Come on.
And not sacrifice.
I will have mercy and not sacrifice. Go ahead, Op.
Ye would not have condemned the guiltless.
You wouldn't have condemned the innocent or the guiltless. Trip off this. Who are the innocent getting condemned in sacrifices in the temple?
It can't be the man who brought the. It can't be the man who brought the sacrifice. And he's guilty. And that's why he's bringing the sacrifice.
And if a damn show ain't the priest,
because they got to take 10% because they're guilty. There's only one element left.
Yeah.
The animal.
That's right. That's right. I will have mercy and not sacrifice. You wouldn't condemn the innocent or the guiltless. Facts. You know what I mean? And look, it's consistent. It's coming out of Messiah's mouth. So if he's saying that, why would he tell somebody to go offer an innocent animal? It don't make sense. What we're showing, what we've been bringing out, y'all, is the conflicts in the scripture. Now, what I'm about to go into is the oldest record of the Messiah's life. And we're going to see what he's saying about eating flesh and sacrificing. And I understand why a lot of these mealy-mouthed Negroes is mad in this hour. You know what I mean? Because they're in agreement with the flesh pots. They're in agreement.
The temple.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, we found, it's like kicking the hornet's nest. We found where them demons was at. It was in the flesh. It was in the flesh. That's the only reason why everybody mad right now. We kicked the hornet's nest with bringing this information out. You did. Now, when we go to the answer, you know what I mean? Either you can receive it or you can't. But that don't mean we didn't have an answer for you. All right. Right here, if you go back and listen, we went into the oldest Gospel, the oldest, earliest recording of the Messiah's life, written by John the Apostle around 70 AD, the fall of Jerusalem. It's called the Gospel of the Holy 12. All right, let me share this. And then we're going to get out of here. We just want to come back on and go over a recap, you know what I mean? Because I was interviewed by the F.O.P.E. Brotherhood yesterday concerning about what honor and humility teaches. And, you know, just want to come on and get some righteous critique from my brothers and sisters. It's all good. All right. All right. This right here. This right here, chapter 21 of the Gospel of the Holy 12, or AKA the Gospel of the Nazarenes. Messiah Yahushua rebuketh cruelty to a horse and condemns the service of mammon. All right, read it on your own time. Let's jump down to verse 7. We're going to read 7 and 9, Hebrew. 7 through 9. Let's get her done, brother.
I got you. Verse 7. And seeing the people come unto him, Yahshua said unto his disciples, because of the sick, I am sick. Because of the hungry, I am hungry. Because of the thirsty, I am thirsty. He also said, I am come to end the sacrifice and feast of blood. And if ye cease not offering and eating of flesh and blood, the wrath of the Most High shall not cease from you, even as it came to your fathers in the wilderness, who lusted for flesh, and they eat to their content and were filled with rottenness, and the plague consumed them.
Bow, there it is. You see that? He said flat out, I'm coming to end all that. The sacrifices and feast of blood. And this is a fair warning to everybody who claim they follow the Messiah. If you cease not offering and eating of flesh and blood, the wrath of the Most High should not cease from you. The wrath of the Most High will not cease from you. The wrath of the Most High will not cease from you if you don't cease from eating flesh and blood. Just like it came to our fathers who was eating quail in the wilderness, that lusted for the flesh, and they eat to their content and were filled with rottenness, and the plague consumed them. Y'all see this? He's saying, look, my whole mission, because everybody want to ask, well, why? If his body or if what he did was a sacrifice, how would a sacrifice evil? Look, him dying symbolized the end of it. It wasn't in harmony with it. It wasn't in agreement with the sacrifices. His death represents the ending of a situation because he was the prophet of truth who was ordained to correct the vice of sacrifices that was deeply ingrained in our people. His death represents the end of sacrifices and flesh eating, not the harmony of it. And if flesh is not being sacrificed or eaten or offered in any temple, and your body is the temple now of the Most High, what you doing eating flesh? What you doing eating flesh? And if you cease not offering and eating of flesh and blood, the wrath of Yahweh El Elyon shall not cease from you. Remember that. Remember that. Verse 9. Go ahead, Op.
Verse 9. And I say unto you, though ye be gathered together in my bosom, if ye keep not my commandment, I will cast you forth. For if you keep not the lesser mysteries, who shall give you the great?
Trip off that. He calling not eating flesh a lesser mystery, y'all. Trip off that. If you can't even discipline yourself and come off the flesh, which is a lesser mystery, what make you think you'll ever be considered worthy to receive deeper revelation, higher mysteries? What make you think you even fit worthy for the kingdom? And you can't do something as small as tame your belly and your taste buds. This thing bigger than your taste buds. Your belly done became your God. And that's the only reason why all these mealy mouth Negroes is mad. Because y'all, believe it or not, the flesh was hiding in the flesh. I mean, the demons were hiding in the flesh pots. And we kicked open the hornet's nest and got everybody mad behind it. But we love you enough to tell you, stand down. Get back to Genesis 1:29 and live. Even if you don't agree with everything that's being said or read in the gospel of the Nazarenes or the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, even if you don't agree with everything, guess what, brothers and sisters? The least you can do is adopt what you put down your mouth, what we call the livid or what people call the diet. The least you can do is take on the diet, y'all. You know what I mean? And prepare yourself to receive the higher mysteries. And the least you can do is that. These animals you chewing on are innocent. They ain't even sinned against their maker. They ain't even sinned against you. The Negro think this about his taste buds. This about your stomach, huh? Y'all, the whole entire ecosystem is out of whack because of what? Because of man's bloodlust.
We talked about that. Bring it out.
All you got to do is go look on Netflix. They got Seaspiracy on Netflix. The oceans are dying because of bloodlust.
Cowspiracy.
Dominion. Go watch. That's another documentary.
Forks and
because of your bloodlust. If you don't stop, the Most High say the wrath of the Messiah say the wrath of the Most High won't stop concerning you. You eat the dead flesh, and the dead flesh is killing you. The wrath of the Most High won't stop unless you discipline your body and your mind and get back to Genesis 1:29. Ooh, that's a ball. Hold on, bro. The wrath won't stop until you discipline your body and your mind and get back to Genesis 1:29.
Oh, Jedadiah, you got it.
He said, you know what I mean? Hey, y'all, for real though, you know what I mean? And lately, that's how we've been coming out. We've been coming out challenging our people. Look, man, we love you enough. Put down the flesh, the strong drink, and the smoke.
And live.
That includes the dairy too, y'all. Live. You know what I mean? Get your prayers up and your fasting up. You know what I mean? Get back out in nature. That's the Most High's classroom. That's his sanctuary. Soak in all that. Look, everything the Most High made is creation. It was made to serve you. You should be spending at least 2 hours a day out there in that sun.
Hey,
stop being afraid to sweat. Go ahead, Hebrew.
You see what Keli wrote? Hey, she ain't never lying, boy. When them carcasses get piled up.
Yeah. That's right, bro. That's right. They gonna have a feast.
They gonna feast on you.
You reap what you sow. Lamb's Book of Life. That's the gospel. Matter of fact, let me see if I can put that PDF up in there. Let me see. That's the gospel.
Yeah, look, while Mally looking that up, take this in. Remember Jedadiah, we was talking about this earlier. The big thing they talking about right now is what? Greenhouse gas, right?
Right.
Greenhouse gas and what? Global what? Warming. All that comes from the slaughtering of the animals. Your biggest gas house generating things are your pig farms, meat farms, and animal farms. If you took all the animals that you were butchering and let them animals do what they were meant to do and cultivate the land, they will reestablish what? No more greenhouse gases. They'll be keeping the earth oxygenated, you'll be absorbing in all that extra oxygen, right? Because you ain't killing all the animals.
Right.
You will be restoring the world back to an ecosystem where the greenhouse gases will be lowered way down. Oxygen levels will be way up. Why? Because animals are breathing off carbon. We are breathing off carbon. Bugs are breathing off carbon, right? And guess who's eating all the carbon? The trees and all the plant life. And then what are they doing? Taking your carbon along with the photosynthesis from the sun and then giving off what? Pure oxygen. Along with the O3 oxygens you eating from the fruit, I got that from YAHKI, along with your H2O that you giving, you are oxygenating your body on levels so high, boy, you probably eradicating sickness about you.
Oh, wait.
A car wouldn't even put no dent in the type of oxygen level that would be given off if you stop killing the animals, dog. We killing the ecosystem ourselves by continuing to do the things that God hates. And it starts with you. If each one of y'all put some of that meat down, there's less meat being killed. The only reason why it's being killed because there is a demand. Supply and demand. Me and Mallie and us, we did that thing earlier. We already know there was a food chart for the USA alone. USA alone, not worldwide, just USA. If we wanted to do our part in our captivity and live like our God called us to do from the way he gave it to us in the beginning, right? Check this out. You got 8 billion chickens killed as of yesterday. You got 400 million Americans roughly as of yesterday. If you take, oh, wait a minute, I just lost it when I turned the phone around. If you take 8 billion divided by 400 million, you are roughly, everybody per day is eating 20 chickens.
Wow.
So everybody is not even plant-based. And we gave everybody a meat diet, not porks, no abominations, just the chicken diet. Now, mind you, there's 27 billion animals being killed every day, up to this day, right? That's including unlawful meat. But we went to the chicken, which most so-called Negroes believe that they are lawful, right? In that meat eating, there's 8 billion of those. Give everybody 20 chickens a day. That's how much chicken you consume. If that ain't lust, I don't know what it is. Because half of y'all can't eat a garnish hen, let alone eat 2 garnish hens. So there's 18 garnish hens or chickens laid out there just in the shambles, just dying. You see what I'm saying? That's lust, bro. Now look, watch this. It works the same way about dealing with women and men in ratio, right? If you take every plant-based, you got 3 people on this thing right now that don't eat meat. I ain't counting the people in the chat. 3 people right here don't eat. That's 60 chickens that didn't die. Now add everybody else. Take half of that. Then you at least down to 10 chickens. You done put the ecosystem back halfway from the chicken point of view. Are you catching what I'm really saying, y'all? You can turn this whole thing around by doing what thus said the Lord from the beginning. And following what the understanding Messiah was really laying down, we're tired of it. So I'm going to destroy the temple. I'm going to rip the curtain. And you don't have to go need to have the oblation, spreading of abomination, causing a desolation, which is until the consumption. I'm just saying.
It makes sense, bro.
You can fix this whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Freddie Jackson, brother, said, I see where you coming from. I keep my commandments and live because sin sacrifice required Israelites to eat meat that was slowly killing us. Absolutely.
It was, right. Given to you because of your rebellion, which is contrary against you. He told you that everything I gave you was for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
And listen, when God tells you something, believe it. Just like when Paul tells you get mad when somebody says something about Paul. Now, mind you, like I say, I'm just, just keep, Madeline did a lot of videos about Paul. Look, we ain't saying when he's talking about God, the law is true, holy, just, and good. But when he tell you, wretched man that I am, believe him. You believe Mary when she said, I had not known a man until I gave birth to my first begotten son. You believe that? You should. She knows her vajayjay. Why you don't believe Paul? He know himself. Paul told you, I wish that all could be like me and be like a eunuch. Ain't none of y'all rushing not to have no vajayjay, no wee-wee. Y'all don't follow Paul like y'all claim y'all do. Stop it. That's what Rock was saying earlier.
Yeah, there's no remission of sins without the shedding of blood. Yeah, Messiah already blood been shed. So any excuse anybody got to have up to the day is null and void.
And
there is no temple, there is no altar, there are no priests. The animals have ceased to be slain within that slaughterhouse called the temple. Your body is the temple. What are animals doing or the dead animal flesh doing in the temple of the Most High, which is you? Think about it.
Hey, think about it. If it ain't no dead meat and blood in the temple of God physically no more, why is there dead meat and blood in your temple, which is the spiritual temple of the Most High?
Yep. And then look, hey, some people got to wean off, you know what I mean? With us, we stopped immediately. But hey, you know what I mean? I would say start making that, if what you heard today jarred your spirit, we just read out of the earliest account of Messiah's mouth, or the earliest account of Messiah's life, that if you don't stop from sacrificing and eating the flesh, then the wrath of the Most High won't cease from you. How many times do we think, y'all, how many chances do you think you got to go to the doctor before you return with a bad report? And then you're going to be wanting to do what's right. Genesis 1:29 and all that. How many times you think you got to go to the doctor before you return with a bad report? You know what I mean? Get on it now. It's called preventative living. Get on it now, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, we challenge you to be better and level up, man. You know what I mean? Because we want to see y'all live. You dig? And whoever mad, let them be mad. But what we have done with bringing this out, we done kicked open the hornet's nest. We done opened up the bottomless pit. Because trip off this, believe it or not, the demons were hiding in the flesh pots. So we about to get about her.
Another reason why Mally, you could do this all day. You know another reason why Mally ain't lying? When you're dealing with getting rid of certain spirits, when you got them real hard spirits to get rid of, what must you do to get rid of those spirits?
You gotta fast.
You gotta do what?
You gotta fast.
You gotta fast and what? And pray.
Fast and pray.
You gotta starve that devil out of you. It's in the meat. Because it was ingrained evil from the beginning. But Moses, like he did with divorce, like he did with everything, and not everything, but other parts, right? He suffered you to do it. Right? He suffered you to do it. So if you take it out, you'll be all right. That's just that simple. You take it out, you'll be all right.
Yeah, and look, and trip off this, y'all. What you're gonna find out is when you put that flesh down, a lot of the things that you were having problem with, a lot of demons that you were having problems with in your life, you'll easily conquer them. You did all from just, you know what I mean, getting rid of that flesh. That don't mean you ain't still at war. That don't mean you still ain't got battles and all that. But I'm saying is what you did was eliminate 95% of the problem. You know what I mean? Just by putting down the flesh and disciplining this stomach and disciplining those taste buds. You know what I mean? So all praise and glory now. Okay, Keela, I see you going on 3 weeks. Hallelujah. She say 3 years for my 10. Look, your 10-year-old been off the flesh for 3 years. Look at you. Hey, tell your 10-year-old salute. All right. So all praise and glory now to the Most High. Y'all, we about to get up out of here. That's right, Lamb's Book of Life. You've been practicing abstinence, so you can do it. You can do it. You can let go of all that's plaguing you. You know what I mean? And then you're going to start seeing. You're going to feel better. More energy. More electric. Don't stink as much. You know what I mean? So all praise and glory now to the Most High. Peace, love, light, and healing. Y'all got any last words before we get out of here?
Peace, love, light, healing.
Choose life.
Choose life. Choose life. All right, y'all. To the next time, y'all willing. We may be back on tomorrow. I know my YAHKI gonna be doing some health things tomorrow. Wednesday, we may be right back on. And then Thursday, we bringing out that the origin of these sacrifices.
Ooh,
Yeah, a lot of Millie Mouth Negroes gonna be mad, boy. Mad boy.
Mad boys, mad boys.
Yeah, you'll
What
be
the girls
mad,
do,
boy.
what the girls do when they
Hey,
come for you.
what's about this? Now you got a glimpse of it tonight when we went to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. Well, what did Peter call the sacrifices? He called it a deeply ingrained
evil.
Evil.
And listen, using the Bible. When Moses and them came out of Egypt and we made it into the wilderness, Moses went up the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. And he got 2 tablets of stone written by the finger of God, 10 commandments. The sacrifice system wasn't written in the 10 commandments. What was they down there doing at the foot of the mountain?
Sacrificing to an idol god that they learned about in Egypt. The name of the god was Apis.
And when you get to that realization, so you saying Levi wicked? Levi been wicked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Levi been wicked since he had blood on his hand back with dealing with denial. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, y'all. To the next time. Love y'all indeed in truth. Peace, love, light, and healing. Level up. Until all the Millie Mouth Negroes or those that fancy out themselves as our enemies. Hey, look, strap up or back up.
I'm smiling.
Hey, look, we ain't dodging nothing. We ain't dodging nothing. For y'all that don't know, I was interviewed last night by the F.O.P.E. Brotherhood about this very topic. I would suggest y'all go and watch that whole interview. That's the video before this one. It's on the channel. All right. So love y'all indeed in truth. Yahoo. You dig? And to the next time, to the end, my friends, strappable back up, long to the king, and may he reside in the mind and the hearts of all the faithful elect. Hallelujah.
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 Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Yahoo.